I have to confess, I did not watch either halftime show, ladies and gentlemen. I saw neither, and I don't feel bad about it at all. That's why I'm in the black hoodie, a funeral for halftime shows. Guys, welcome in, having a good time. We have a lot to cover today. First thing we have to cover is I think I might have screwed up my sound input. So if it sounds too loud or too hot or whatever, let me know. I was playing around with it entirely too close to showtime. And so this is the one night I will allow some feedback on sound. If it's too hot, let me know. I tried to crank it up a little bit because I know some of you have issues with how quiet I tend to broadcast. One of the reasons is I yell quite a lot. I yell quite a lot. All right, sounds great. Perfect. I'm taking that one person's word for it. We're talking about it no more tonight. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. We got a great lineup for you today. I have been doing research. I've been running down rabbit holes so deep. But before I get to my opening statement, I have to make a correction from yesterday's broadcast. I wanted to wait and do this at the end, but I cannot do an entire program with this on my conscience. I missed one of the super chats last night, and it was a good one, and I want to answer it. So let me pull it up now. If this was you, I do apologize. I'm giving you my sincerest apologies. This was one of the super chats last night. I will do the opening in a second. We've got a whole show ahead of you before we get into any more super chats, but I wanted to address this one because I missed it. It was on the screen, and I was thinking about the question before, and I just didn't go over it. So to begin with, the Bitcoin show that I was going to do, I still plan to do some semblance of that down the road. So that's coming. But it was public long before 2014. Bitcoin's been public since basically early 2009. Late 2008 was when it was formally released, but it's been public really since early 2009. And yes, it was for all kinds of untraceable, horrible things. So thank you. I appreciate that. I will do my best to not let that happen again. I will try not to let that happen again. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin can be used for good or bad. It is totally a different phenomenon than it was, but I don't want to spend a whole show on Bitcoin. It was originally going to be peer-to-peer cash. It's now peer-to-peer, I don't know, Ponzi scheme, wealth storage, I guess, if someone's willing to pay you something. So we'll talk about that one day. I promise you we'll talk about it. Second correction I have to make from yesterday's show. I said Jesus loves you at the end of the program, as I typically close. I have forgotten before, but I did not forget last night. It did not make it to the YouTube final cut. It made it to Rumble. It did not make it to YouTube. I don't know if YouTube clipped it. I didn't clip it. I would have to clip twice. I always clip the first 2 minutes. I don't know what happened at the end of the program. I was then told after I looked into it that it happened before. I have a fix for that, ladies and gentlemen. I will demonstrate that fix tonight. If you wait to the very end of the broadcast, you will see how I plan to fix it. So that is number 2. Now, number 3, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Holy mackerel, do we have a lot to talk about. I do want to do my opening statement, and then I have the beginning of a tremendous amount of research that I have done into the life and times of the potential next vice president of the United States. I mean, I heard rumblings of a Vance Kirk ticket. Kirk being Erika Kirk. Now, if that ever were to pan out, we would have to have thoroughly vetted the woman. I've gotten ahead of that. I've started that process for you, just, doing the world a favor. And I will start to talk about that tonight because, well, I don't want to draw the conclusion for you. But if you're like me, that thought terrifies you. Absolutely terrifies you. So let me get into the opening statement tonight. I hope everything's going well in post Super Bowl land, but I want to kind of recap a little bit of the history of what we saw last night leading up to it and where it may be going from here, because here's your opening statement. I did not watch live, and I have not gone back to watch either Super Bowl halftime performance from last night. It's my firm belief that the format is terrible. Not anything the Super Bowl has done or TPUSA did, but the idea that you would bring out a star to do a 1, 2, or 3 song show is terrible. It's a terrible format. Even if the acts themselves are not terrible, the format is terrible. I have, however, followed the controversy and the fallout today, including allegations of TPUSA buying views and Super Bowl attendees looking like they would rather be anywhere on earth other than at a 20-minute Bad Bunny concert. I watched the cell phone footage. It was terrible. But it's important to me to look at how we got here. Why, after all, is the choice of halftime entertainment at a single football game remotely controversial in the first place? I have personally been to hundreds of football games in my life, except for the times I had a child performing on the field at halftime. I never once took a cultural stance over what was happening on the field during the game's scheduled intermission. I either watched or I didn't. I either was entertained or I wasn't. But never once did it dawn on me to think of it as anything more than a way to pass the time between two halves of a football game. The Super Bowl halftime show initially was pretty modest. The halftime of the first Super Bowl, way back in 1967, featured the University of Arizona and Grambling State University marching bands, along with a trumpeter named Al Hurt. And this sort of set the tone for the early years where halftime entertainment primarily consisted of college marching bands, sometimes drill teams. Throughout the 1970s and into the late 1980s even, the halftime shows remained relatively low-key, even if they had moved on by that time from marching bands and drill teams. The band Up With People performed at 5 halftime shows in 15 years from 1971 to 1986. This is the most by any act in Super Bowl history. People eventually grew weary of seeing Up With People over and over and began to complain. The 1987 Super Bowl had the Rockettes, Chubby Checker, and featuring 88 grand pianos. It wasn't Up With People, but it probably wasn't a whole lot better. Most people don't have a memorable halftime show and probably can't even name a specific halftime show that took place before the 1990s. And that's why the NFL stepped up its entertainment about that time. Super Bowl ratings were tanking during the halftime show. People would turn it off at the halftime show and they wouldn't come back. That all changed in 1991. New Kids on the Block kicked off what we now consider the glamour and glitz of the Super Bowl halftime show. New Kids on the Block became the first contemporary pop act to headline, performing mega hits in a Disney-themed show dedicated to U.S. troops in the Gulf War. People forget just how big New Kids on the Block were. They were a thing. They were huge. But a couple of years later, it was the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson, who changed the Super Bowl halftime show forever. His performance at the 1993 Super Bowl set the standard. It revolutionized the event from a way to pass time between two halves of a football game to become one of the primary reasons people tune into the game in the first place. Michael Jackson famously stood motionless for nearly 2 minutes before launching into hits like Jam, Billie Jean, and Heal the World. The audience was unprecedented. His performance boosted ratings to heights never before imaginable. His performance is credited with elevating the show to a global pop culture phenomenon. From the mid-1990s onward, the NFL focused on booking major music stars to captivate viewers. Gloria Estefan, herself a massive star in the 90s, appeared multiple times. Country music had a rare spotlight in 1994 with Clint Black, Tanya Tucker, Travis Tritt, and the Judds. The show grew more elaborate, incorporating high production values, a lot of special effects, and even guest appearances. In an incredibly emotional performance during U2's 2002 Super Bowl halftime appearance, the band scrolled the names of 9/11 victims on a massive screen while they played their hit song, Where the Streets Have No Name. Controversies also defined the era. In 2004, we had the famous wardrobe malfunction, also known as Nipplegate. It involved Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. The cultural fallout was intense. The malfunction led to the FCC issuing fines and a more conservative approach in the subsequent years. The next couple of years featured performers like Paul McCartney in 2005, the Rolling Stones in 2006. They were safe, elderly rock acts. Prince followed them in 2007 in a rain-soaked medley in Miami that included Purple Rain, In the Rain. That performance is widely considered one of the very greatest halftime shows. The 2010s saw a surge both in diversity and spectacle. Beyonce's 2013 set with Destiny's Child, Bruno Mars in 2014 and 16 with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Beyonce, Lady Gaga's 2017 Ariel entrance. In recent years, the show has embraced a decidedly hip-hop global influence. The 2022 hip-hop royalty lineup featured Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. Rihanna's 2023 pregnancy reveal during her medley of hits drew massive views. Usher headlined in 2024, Kendrick Lamar in 2025, and Bad Bunny last night made history as the first primarily Spanish headline act. For all the discussion about whether it was good or bad, it is estimated to have drawn nearly 135 million viewers. As broadcasters on other networks noticed the unbelievably massive audiences tuning in to the Super Bowl each year, they were left essentially with three options. One, they could be competent in their regular programming and air what they would have aired in that time slot if the Super Bowl wasn't on. That's what your humble host did last night. Two, they could abandon their regular programming and play something else. They didn't care if it was seen or not. Or number three, they could program alternative Super Bowl halftime programming scheduled to run at the same time as the Super Bowl halftime show. The alternative programming was aimed at viewers that those networks perceived as uninterested in the performance or who were just seeking niche entertainment. One of the very first examples of this alternative programming was during the 1992 Super Bowl. There was a weirdly programmed halftime lineup that year, pairing pop superstar Gloria Estefan with figure skaters. Fox Network, which at the time was a new and fledgling network, countered the Super Bowl halftime programming with a live show of its sketch comedy series In Living Color, starring the Wayans family and Jim Carrey. The In Living Color special drew nearly 29 million viewers. The move caused a 10-point drop in the Super Bowl second half ratings as many people switched channels and never came back. The success of Fox's alternative programming prompted the NFL to revamp its halftime strategy. That's what led to the world's biggest celebrity at the time, Michael Jackson, headlining the 1993 show. The move by In Living Color in 1992 is credited with forcing the league to prioritize star power over marching bands or washed-up acts. Throughout the 1990s, MTV joined the fray. They aired episodes of Beavis and Butthead during halftime. The animated duo mocked the game in the halftime acts. For the 1995 Super Bowl, MTV counter-programming poked fun at the Super Bowl halftime show featuring Tony Bennett and Patti LaBelle in a weird Indiana Jones theme. During the 1999 Super Bowl, USA Network broadcast something called Halftime Heat. This was a WWE match between The Rock and Mankind. It was an empty arena, but it was a brawl. It attracted wrestling fans and was revived in 2019 as a six-man tag match on the WWE Network during Maroon 5's Super Bowl halftime show. The early 2000s saw even more attempts. NBC countered the 2003 Super Bowl halftime show with a live weekend update from Saturday Night Live. It was hosted by Jimmy Fallon and Tina Fey. And it was sandwiched between episodes of Joe Rogan's TV hit show Fear Factor. The previous year, Fear Factor featured Playboy Playmates competing against the NFL's halftime show. These efforts aimed at an edgier reality-based TV audience. None of them matched the living color impact of the early 90s. Animal Planet's Puppy Bowl debuted in 2005 and became a perennial alternative. And the Puppy Bowl featured admittedly adorable puppies, and they were playing games with kittens at the halftime show. And it appealed to families and animal lovers as a lighthearted alternative. Counter-programming waned in the 2010s as it became harder to compete with the NFL's halftime show blockbuster lineups that featured people like Beyonce and Katy Perry. But these niche efforts persisted as the Hallmark Channel's Kitten Bowl, which ran from 2014 to 2021, and there were occasional specials on other cable news networks. And the strategy often targeted demographics overlooked by the main event, the non-sports fans or those seeking humor over music. And that brings us to last night. In 2026, this year, Counter-programming took its first decidedly political turn with Turning Point USA's All-American halftime show during Bad Bunny's Super Bowl show. The All-American halftime show was announced in October as an alternative that would celebrate faith, family, and freedom. It featured Kid Rock and three people I've never heard of. It streamed online on YouTube and other platforms and reportedly hit a few million concurrent viewers. At least that's what we're told. The show allegedly wasn't live, of course. It was reportedly taped in Atlanta days or weeks ahead of time. But my fear is that last night marked a decided shift from entertainment-driven alternatives to ideologically or politically motivated alternatives. It's almost as if they don't think we have enough ideological or political division in this country already. For his part, President Trump did criticize the NFL's choice of featuring Bad Bunny. It amplified the divide, but it's also worth noting that leaked video from inside the president's own Super Bowl watch party showed the TVs were, in fact, tuned to Bad Bunny and his halftime show, not to TPUSA's. Here's where I get down to a problem that I have with this. This is the only reason I'm really talking. TPUSA claims their programming was motivated by ideology. It was motivated by the choice of the NFL to feature a Spanish-speaking liberal to headline the halftime show. The problem I have with that is TPUSA has already announced plans for yet another alternate halftime show next year in 2027. This, of course, despite the absence of an announcement from the NFL on who will headline next year's halftime show. And that, to me, betrays the true incentive of their choice to program an alternative halftime show. How can you protest that which you don't even know yet exists? And for all the theatrics about TPUSA creating a safe space in their halftime show for religious conservatives, the set list was somewhat interesting, especially Kid Rock's song choice. Your humble host admittedly is a fan of some, but not all of his music. And I can think of perhaps 20 Kid Rock songs that would have fit the theme of last night better than the song he chose for his two-song set. He opened with Ba Wit Da Ba. I will carefully read the opening verse, which goes as follows. And this is for the questions that don't have any answers, for the midnight glancers and the topless dancers, the gander freaks, cars packed with speakers, the G's with the 40s and the chicks with beepers, the northern lights and the southern comfort. And it don't even matter if their veins are punctured. All the crackheads, the critics, the cynics, and all my heroes in the methadone clinics. All you bastards at the IRS, for the crooked cops and the cluttered desks, for the shots of Jack and the caps of meth, half pints of love and the fifths of stress, for the hookers all tricking out in Hollywood, and for my hoods of the world misunderstood. I said, it's all good and it's all fun. Now get in the pit and try to love someone. That's the first verse of the headline song to the family values alternative to Bad Bunny. Topless dancers, G's with 40s, chicks with beepers, weed, whiskey, IV drug use, crackheads, methadone, hookers. Family values indeed. Not that I care what the Super Bowl chooses for next year, but I'm curious. What is TPUSA's justification for having alternative programming if the headline act next year turns out to be something Christians and conservatives consider somewhat acceptable? And that's why it's obvious to me they had alternative programming this year and plan to have one again next year. Not about culture. It can't be about culture. Not with the song choice they've made. It can't be because they don't even know who will perform. It could be the most patriotic, most American person ever who walks out there and sings songs about God, Jesus Christ, and apple pie in an American flag set of Levi Strauss jeans. So I'll leave you, the viewer, to draw your own conclusion about what their true reason really is for having their own alternative halftime programming. I won't tell you why I think they're doing it. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, your opening statement. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Here's my issue. Let me tell you my major issue with it. And I don't want to talk about it again for the rest of my life. I don't care about the Super Bowl halftime show. I didn't watch a single second of either halftime show. I don't know who Bad Bunny is. I'd never heard of him until he was in a movie that I watched. I think it was the Happy Gilmore 2 or something. I didn't even know he's one of the characters. I was watching with my son. He's like, that's Bad Bunny. I said, who's Bad Bunny? Never heard of him. Still never heard a Bad Bunny song that I'm aware of. But you can't pick that song with those lyrics and say, this is our faith-filled alternative to Bad Bunny. At least I don't understand Bad Bunny's music. His music can't offend me. I don't speak Espanol. So I don't get it. I just don't get it. I have a feeling I know why they did it, but I don't get it. I don't get the stated reason. I don't buy it. Let me say that. I don't buy it. All right, we've got a lot to cover today. I hope you brought a buoyancy control device, a regulator, a backup regulator, a pair of fins. It's the middle of the winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, so maybe you'll need a wetsuit, maybe a 7mm wetsuit. Because we are going deep, ladies and gentlemen. We are going deep. If I am going to have Erika Kirk foisted on me, I need to know a little bit about her life. I had no idea who she was prior to September 10th. I knew absolutely nothing about what was going on in Erika Kirk's life. Excuse me, I'm still drinking coffee. That's why I don't have my fancy mason jar, fancy stemmed mason jar. I have to go with the coffee instead. Hold, please. All right. If you missed it, we were told, and I will play it, but we were told Miss Kirk lived in China. Now, when were we told this? This is going to be a lot of links today. If I do this without any production errors, you guys owe me a big hallelujah high five at the end of it. The Amazing Race 26. I can tell you almost to the day of when this interview was filmed, when this audition video was filmed. Let's see, April, May, March to April, April to May, June, July, August. It was filmed at the end of August, maybe September. But I want to play it because there's a couple of things in here that jump out to me that I want to use as a setup, and I'm only going to play the first minute or so. But I'm going to use these as a setup to begin the dive into who is Erika Francve and what has she done with her life, because her story doesn't add up and it keeps changing. So allow me to hit play.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning, America.
I've lived in China. I've lived in Chongqing. I've been to Romania. I've been to Croatia. Lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit.
Okay, that's just honestly, for right now, that's all I want to play. She lived in China and she lived in Puerto Rico. That's her story. That's what she told us. I've never gotten an explanation of why any of those things. No one told me why. And so I had to figure out, is she the only one who claimed to have lived in China? Well, as a matter of fact, no. She's not the only one to claim that she lived in China. Charlie, in fact, gave us a little more color about it. So before I get into more of her story in China, maybe what she was doing there, I think I figured it out, despite what she claims, but I think I figured it out, what she was really doing there. I want to play this clip from Candace Owens' show of maybe a month or so ago, where she plays a clip of Charlie talking about why Erika was there.
Then I told you guys that having asked this question through an official channel, Turning Point USA, I received a response alleging that Erika never lives there. So that's coming from Erika. She actually never lived there. They said that she simply visited for 2 weeks, you know, like a tourist, just to visit the Great Wall and perhaps see other monuments in history. Then somebody emailed me an interesting video of Charlie Kirk. And apparently he disagrees with that new assessment. This is a video of Charlie debating someone named Ben Carollo. Take a listen.
When you go to China, let me just tell you, you'll drive down the street and you will see dead people laying in the middle of the street. You will see people defecating. You
Go
will
to
see.
China then. Go to China. Take a video.
Actually,
Bring
you know
these
what?
Cameras.
My-
Go
my-
to China. Take a
unlike
video with
you-
these cameras.
unlike
I dare
you-
right now.
Unlike
Go to
you,
do it.
my wife lived in China for 6 months, and she'll show you the videos. She'll show you the images. They don't have a regard for human life. They don't value people as the individual.
We're-
So Charlie said she lived there for 6 months. I'm tempted to take him at his word. I find him to be a pretty credible witness. He's not around to defend his comment, but now we have two people both saying she lived there. But the question is, why? Why was she living there? I think I figured it out. It took me a little while to figure it out. And I had to really dig. I'm telling you, I had to put on a scuba suit to find this out. Let's start with the story of Erika Kirk in Michigan, because that's where we were yesterday, if you recall. All that trouble she got into as a 25, 26-year-old woman with a 15 and 16-year-old girl, writing about being in her lady garden, writing about touching her butt for Valentine's Day. All of that took place in Michigan. Here is a Reddit post where somebody reached out to her about when this was a couple of months ago. I found her and she just replied back to me. Well, we're waiting. What did she say? She said she rented a house from her grandparents in Michigan with Josh Harrelson, her boyfriend at the time. And she and her friends just thought Erika was a super pretty. She and her friends just thought Erika was super pretty, so they fangirled over her. She said looking back, it was pretty weird. So this was a woman, this was somebody named Ancient Geologist who reached out to the 15-year-old girl a couple of months ago. Apparently this story's been bubbling under the surface. At least 2 months ago, she said it was pretty weird. But she said Erika rented a house from this girl's grandparents. Or maybe she rented a house from Erika's grandparents. There's a lot of pronouns. This is why I don't use pronouns if I can avoid it. Either way, Erika's renting a house in Michigan with Josh Harrelson, her boyfriend at the time. So that brings us to a date we have in time where Erika's living in Michigan. But how does that explain her time in China? Well, here's how. Let me point you to the biography of one Josh Harrelson. This is Josh Harrelson's biography on Wikipedia. You guys are going to think I'm nuts. Like my mom took too much Tylenol and gave me too many vaccines or something. This is his brief little bio here. Says that in 2013, he joined the Brujos de Guayama in Puerto Rico. He was released on May 18 so that he could join the Chongqing Flying Dragons in the Chinese National Basketball League for a 2-month period. That explains why Josh Harrelson lived in Puerto Rico and then in China. And then in August of 2013, Harrelson joined the Detroit Pistons, which would explain why Josh Harrelson lived in Michigan. And she was dating him at the time, so that explains why she lived in Michigan. So we have here Josh Harrelson in a short period of time living in Puerto Rico, China, and Michigan. Now we will continue to look a little deeper at the explanation, because I've not heard Erika Kirk's explanation for living in these countries as I was shacking up with a pro player. That hasn't crossed her lips yet. It's not consistent with her story, but I'm starting to feel like that's the picture that's being painted. But I had to dig deeper because there was a lot going on in this period of time, and I was not satisfied with his answer. Believe it or not, even though it looks pretty compelling at this point, I had to keep going. So I had to go back to yesterday's program a little bit, because there was sorry if you heard that play, I apologize. There was a date where we were able to track down exactly when Miss Francevay met the underage girl. And I'll play that here. There's a date in September. I will let Sis Nissy No Social take it away.
Back in 2013, Erika was 25 years old and she was in a relationship with a basketball player named Joshua Harrelson. So at the time, he was living in Michigan and Erika moved out there to be with him. On the evening of September 15th, 2013,
September 15th, 2013.
Joshua Harrelson and Erika met a 15-year-old girl named Jillian Falcon.
So we now have a date. We now have a date we can pin down of when all this stuff took place. We have September 15th of 2013. Well, let's go back and look. Is that consistent with what we just learned about our friend Josh Harrelson? Let's go back and look at his bio one more time. Was he in Michigan on September 15th, 2013? In fact, he was. He had just moved there in August. And remember, the girl told somebody that Erika Kirk moved to Michigan to be with him. And so we can at least pin down one date that's consistent. We now have, I believe, firm confirmation that this bio provides a definitive explanation of why Erika Kirk was in Michigan. But let's keep digging, because I'm not satisfied yet. This is not enough for me to just walk away and say, "Yep, wrap that case up." No. I had to go find contemporaneous evidence. Contemporaneous evidence that Miss Francevay was with Josh Harrelson. Josh Harrelson's Twitter feed is called Big Jorts 55. Big Jorts 55. That is classic. That is perfect for a guy who played at the University of Kentucky. So this woman, Michelle Rose, apparently a big Kentucky fan. That's what BBN means, Big Blue Nation. Big Blue Numbskulls. Just kidding, Kentucky fans. I know you take basketball way too seriously. But this is contemporaneous confirmation from March of 2016 that someone named M. Rose LA just made the connection that Erika Francevay and Josh Harrelson were together as an item, as a couple, on March 6th of 2013. So let's go back one more time, shall we? Let's go back one more time to the bio, because now I think we're putting a few more things in place. He was in Brujos, Guayama, Puerto Rico. Is that good enough for you, Bad Bunny? Is that good enough pronunciation? Baron Bunny? So in March of 2013, she was actively an item, according to somebody on Twitter. She was a boyfriend-girlfriend item with Josh Harrelson. In March of 2013, Josh Harrelson was playing ball in Puerto Rico. He was released on May 18th so he could go to Chongqing, China, to play with the Chongqing Flying Dragons in the National Basketball League of China for a 2-month period. And so what we've now done is we've established that during this period of time, because we know that she's still with Harrelson in September of 2013. We know she was with Harrelson in March of 2013. And we know that for that 6-month period, Harrelson at least lived in Puerto Rico, China, and Michigan, playing basketball. Just coincidentally, the only places on earth Erika Kirk claims to have lived are Puerto Rico, China, and I guess Michigan. Puerto Rico and China. Those are only like 2 foreign countries outside of her work in Romania. She said she had been to Croatia, never claimed to have lived there. We know she's been to Israel twice, at least. I have contemporaneous evidence she was in Israel. I could show you that one day. But what I think we've established is she wasn't just this guy's boyfriend. She was living with him overseas. Like she was his live-in girlfriend, which is different than the image she likes to project of herself. This is different from the image that she likes to project of herself. But are we done? No, as a matter of fact, we're not done, because now we have popped up in a video a problem that's appeared on the timeline. Whoa, something's playing. Oh, there it is. All right, we've got a problem that's popped up on the timeline, and I've got to point it out. I've got to identify it. Let me find it first, though. Where's the timestamp problem? I got to go check the transcript. Hold, please. I told you there would be an issue at some point. Oh, here it is. So she's going to introduce herself. Miss Kirk is. A minute and 2 seconds into this video that Project Constitution posted. She's going to introduce herself and listen to when she says they met. Now, keep in mind, this video was recorded in August or September of 2013. I can definitively state that. There's no question in my mind. Or 2014, excuse me. No question in my mind. It was August or September of 2014. I can tell you how, but it would bore you. Here is where she said they first met.
Hi, I'm Erika France. I'm 25 years old from Scottsdale, Arizona, and I currently live in Venice, California.
So March 1st, we went on our first date.
Well, I got it wrong because I thought it was
Yes.
the day before, and I called him and I was like, "Hi, so I'm gonna be running late for our date." And he's like, "Actually, it's tomorrow."
Yeah.
So their first date was March 1st. She thought their first date
I'm sitting at dinner with my
was,
dad.
she thought their first date was February 28th. That's when she thought their first date was. Well, let's find out a little bit about where this guy was. This is Tyler TJ Massey. He's from Chattanooga. He played ball. I have right here everywhere this guy was during this period of time. So, let me pull up more of them. Here we go. So here is his whereabouts at the time. You'll notice here on March 1st, he's in between jobs. Excuse me, right here. March 1st, he's in between jobs. He's assigned to the Melbourne Aces. This is in Melbourne, Australia. And he doesn't sign with the Colorado Rockies. He's not assigned to the Colorado Rockies until March 6th, but that doesn't present too much of a problem for my timeline. But let me show you real quickly where the Melbourne season ended. So this is the Melbourne baseball season. He played from October 31 to February of 2014. 8 February of 2014. So the second week of February, he's done in Melbourne, Australia. He flies back presumably to the United States. He's here in the United States in February of 2014, and somehow, even though he's been in Australia, even though he just gets back to the United States in February of 2014, somehow they're going on their first date in the next 3 weeks after that. Keep in mind, she's living in Michigan at the time in February. I can prove that as well. I'll show you that in just a moment. So that was her first foray. Now, he was with the Colorado. He was with the Rockies organization. Here is where the Rockies were on March 1st, February 28th and March 1st. You'll notice on February 28th at 1:10 in the afternoon, there was a ball game that the Diamondbacks had in Scottsdale. That's where she lives. The next day, the Reds, they're at Goodyear Ballpark. Well, Goodyear Ballpark is in Goodyear, Arizona. That's basically Phoenix. And so this puts them in it puts him in her hometown, in Scottsdale, Phoenix area. Puts him, TJ Massey, in her hometown. And then after that, he goes to Tulsa because he's assigned to Tulsa in March 29th of 2014. I can show you that as well. So we know for that first month or so that they're together, he is in the Scottsdale area with the Colorado Rockies spring training team. And then on March 29th, he's assigned to Tulsa. They've been 28 days since their first date, according to both of them in that video moments ago. I'm building this story for a reason. Because we have a weird crunch in the timeline in February of March of 14. A very weird crunch in the timeline We've established she lived, I believe we've established to my satisfaction. I'm not stating it as fact. I'm stating it as the evidence seems to point me that direction, that she lived with Josh Harrelson in 3 different countries, or 2 different countries in one territory. The United States and Michigan, Puerto Rico, which is the United States territory, and China. I'm pretty satisfied that that's accurate. I'm also pretty satisfied that while she was living with Josh Harrelson in Michigan, she strikes up this very weird and allegedly inappropriate relationship with an alleged 15-year-old. But we still have this weird crunch that's taking place, this very weird crunch that's taking place right at the end of March and right at the end of February into March. And so we have to ask ourselves, where was Erika Kirk at that time? And I think I have the answer. Because if she's still in Michigan, how is she meeting a baseball player a couple of weeks later? And why did she leave Michigan? Why did she and Josh Harrelson break up? I think I have an answer to that as well. But let me pick up from here. This is February 13 from Auburn Hills, Michigan. This is a text we played last night. This is Erika Francve, gorgeous as always. This is from Jill Falcone. I'm going to let Miss Nisi Social take it from here for just a minute.
Jillian replied to one of Erika's tweets by saying, at Erika Francve, gorgeous as always. A few hours later, she then tweeted, why did at Erika Francve just send me this? Laughing emojis. And there is a photo which says, this Valentine's Day, I am going to touch your butt.
Now, if you're going to touch someone's butt, you have to be there. You can't touch their butt from Arizona if they live in Michigan. That's a long arm. Not even Inspector Gadget can pull that off. So for Erika to say, this Valentine's Day, I'm going to touch your butt, Erika had to be in butt-touching range. We see the tweet here was based in Auburn Hills, Michigan, which means Erika Kirk had to be in and around the Auburn Hills, Michigan area, or else there would be no butt-touching. She wouldn't be able to reach her. So at least as late as February 13th, Erika Kirk is still in Michigan, presumably still living with Josh Harrelson. Now, what's happening at this time? This is an interesting timeline because Erika Kirk had to have still been in Michigan on Valentine's Day, but somehow back in Scottsdale, Arizona on February 28th because she thought she was going on a date that night. Turned out to be the next night, but she thought she was going on a date that night. So there's a 2-week gap where we don't know what happened. Let me show you something that did happen in there that might give us a little indication of what happened. Again, I hate to have to do this, but if you're going to talk about someone potentially being the vice president of the United States, I got to get to vetting early. I don't want a situation where I don't know who these people are, and all of a sudden they're coming out and expecting me to vote for them. So what happened on this timeline? And not only that, she's the CEO of probably the most influential Republican organization in America. That's how we're being billed. So let me show you real quickly what happened in this time period. This is Josh Harrelson's stats while he played with the Detroit Pistons this year. This is the season begins in October. They're playing ball. He has some days where he's inactive or not playing. You know, DNP did not play, just means the coach didn't put him in the game, but he was dressed out. He was on the bench. He was available. Coach could have put him in any second. Inactive means you weren't paid for that day, or at least you weren't available to play that day. They can only take so many people into the arena. You weren't among them. And then he gets reactivated. He goes inactive here in November. He gets reactivated in November. This is Erika and him still living together. He's getting a few minutes here and there, you know, up to 11 minutes a couple of games, 12 minutes here. He goes this long chunk here between like November and the end of December where he's playing pretty much every night. He's getting in. At one point, look at this, 24 minutes a game. That's half a basketball game. So he's not a non-contributor. But then watch what happens here as the season drags on. He gets a bunch of DNPs, coach isn't putting him in. And then he gets down here and he get DNP, and then he's inactivated for 4 games in early February. Then he's DNP again. Means he's been reactivated back on the team, but not getting in. So after this game on February 1, 2014, he never plays again. He gets inactivated, and then he comes back for what looks like a little 5-day contract, and then deactivated for the final time on February 26th, and not activated again the rest of the season. That is my guess what happened. My guess is the coach or the general manager or the president of basketball operations or whoever makes the call in Detroit finally decided Josh Harrelson was not going to be an NBA player, at least not for the Detroit Pistons. And that's when they call you into the office and they have this awkward conversation and they say, hey, we understand that this is all you know in life, but you're not going to make it. And you've got to go somewhere else. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You're no longer a Detroit Piston. That seems to have happened after the game on February 24th and before the game on February 26th, meaning he probably had that conversation on February 25th. Well, February 25th, he's no longer a Piston. Keep in mind, we are pretty confident that Erika Kirk was still in town when this game was played on February 12th because on the 13th and 14th, she's butt touching. Her words, not mine. Allegedly her words, not mine. So she's local to touch butts in this area here. But then just a few games later, back home. That broke my heart for poor Josh. I looked at that. I mean, Josh is a big dude. He's like 6'10". I don't know if she was touching his butt. I don't know what was going on, but they were living together in 3 different locations, Michigan, Puerto Rico, and China, in my opinion. So I'm guessing a butt was touched. If I had to put money on it, I would say the butt was touched. Maybe both butts. Who knows? I don't know what they're into. But there was some touching going on. It had to be. But then she left. So let's go back. Let's go back to the interview. Because it gives us an idea of how often they were together after they first met. So let me go back to that part where they talked about meeting and having their first date. And then we will listen to whether or not she had an opportunity to go back to Michigan at that point or not, or whether she was home in Arizona for good. Because she appeared to be in Michigan in mid-February for some butt touching. By March 1, she's in Scottsdale. The question is, does she ever go back to Michigan, or is she cut poor Josh out for good and is now on to other pastures? Let me see if I can find the right tab here. I think this is it.
Hi, I'm Erika Kirk. I'm 25 years old from Scottsdale, Arizona, and I currently live in Venice, California.
So March 1st, we went on our first date.
Well, I got it wrong because I thought it was
Yes.
the day before, and I called him and I was like, hi, so I'm going to be running late for our date. He's like, actually, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sitting at dinner with my dad in Arizona, and I'm like, did I mess up the date or what? End up standing up from the table to call her, and she messed up the date.
I did. So we went to Maggiano's.
Yeah, it worked out.
It was good.
We went to Maggiano's. I picked her up. It was raining.
It was.
Kind of different night in Arizona, and
Mhm.
picked her up at her house, and later met her mom on the first night.
It's a big deal for the
Exciting
first
stuff.
night.
Yeah, I'm not trying to scare her off or anything.
But it was good.
It was great. Easy conversation.
And then we spent literally every single day with each other since then. And I couldn't go to his house that he was staying at because I wasn't allowed to, because the girl who was married to the guy he was living with was very territorial of her nest. So we had to brainstorm of different places to socialize and meet at.
Hang out.
So we would close
spend
out
time.
coffee shops and Chipotles,
Bunch of
and
Chipotles.
we just brainstormed. We did hiking together.
Someone should have told Charlie to find him a girl who looks at him the way Erika looks at this guy. Because I think he would have ended up with someone different. I've never seen her look at Charlie that way. Never one time have I seen her look at Charlie that way. Those eyes that she's looking at him with are very, very different than the way I saw her look at Charlie Kirk. But I don't know if you caught it. They said after they met on March 1st, they were together every single day. Meaning she didn't go back to Michigan into butt-touching land. She didn't go back there. Starting February 28th, at least, she was back in Scottsdale for good, living with mom. Now, we will find out later in this interview, and I could probably find the exact line, but you could take my word for it, or you could go find it on Project Constitution's X feed and YouTube channel and look at it yourself. But we'll find out that while he's in Tulsa, when he gets assigned to Tulsa, she basically moves to Tulsa with him. So she didn't take long to come out of a long-term relationship, and I would consider pre-marriage, living with someone for 6 months on two different continents, 2 different countries in a U.S. territory, a tiny island in the Caribbean. I would consider that a pretty serious relationship. She comes out of a pretty serious relationship, and she jumps right into another one. I mean, like immediately right into another one. Yeah, maybe she just found the right guys. Maybe they were just perfect. But again, if I was Charlie and I had known this timeline, I would be a little weirded out by this. I'd be a little weirded out by this. That's not something that would make me feel very comfortable. Because it would give me a lot of suspicions about how quickly she jumps in and out of relationships. And here's the key. How quickly did she cut off Josh Harrelson when he got cut from the Pistons and immediately jump into a brand new relationship where she was stage 5 clinger? I mean, it didn't take long. It makes you wonder if she somehow met this guy while she was still in Michigan. I don't know that, but I don't know how she would have come across him that fast. She would have had to leave Michigan after Valentine's Day when the butt touching was happening, allegedly. She would have had to leave Michigan, get to Scottsdale, immediately start looking for prospects, find one, go on a date with him, and immediately become a stage 5 clinger. Day one. I don't think it's unusual that they're both aspiring professional athletes. Aspiring professional athletes tend to get pretty rich over time. On average, they do tend to get a little rich. Are we done? No, friends. Because we have, if we go back to yesterday, late in the show yesterday, during the comments section, we learned, if you guys tuned out for the comments, you missed this, so this is going to be news for you. We learned that Erika Kirk not only was living it up with ball players in 2 different countries and a U.S. territory, not only was she leaving one ball player as soon as he gets cut from the Pistons and heading immediately to a new ball player and spending every day with him, but the following month, May of 2014. So she leaves Michigan in February, I think. We can kind of firmly establish that. She leaves Michigan, moves out with Josh in February, about the time he gets cut from the Pistons. She moves back to Scottsdale. She immediately jumps in with this guy, all in, sees him every day. But then in May, 2 months later, she is back on Twitter talking to the 15-year-old girl. I guess she's now 16, the girl in Michigan. And we covered this last night, but I want to play this because it puts this all in new context. Because this is from May 16 of 2014. Here is the text thread. I'll show you the one that's relevant. This is the girl who was, I think, 15, 16 years old at the time. I think this is her, Jill Falcone. She's gotten a white ink tattoo. She's showing it off for the camera. Keep in mind, she's a minor. She's now gotten tattooed at age 16. And here is what Erika responds on this text thread. This is 612 weeks ago. Dom, our wonderful listener, Dom, has said that that was May 16 of 2014. I have several white ink tattoos, and I'm a working professional in the entertainment industry, nonprofit world, and very involved with political affairs in Washington, D.C. When tattoos are tasteful, they are considered a form of art, not a distraction that hinders your job opportunities. So not only is Erika Kirk telling this girl or approving of this girl or inspiring this girl to butt touch and enter lady gardens, bat for the other team, all the disturbing things we covered last night. Apparently, she's inspired her to get white ink tattoos, just like Erika, the one she looks up to. But that wasn't even the part that jumped off the screen to me, because if this is May of 2014 and she is very involved with political affairs in Washington, D.C., it raises the question, what the hell was she doing with her life? Because what it seemed like me she was very involved with was cleat chasing. It seemed like she was jockstrap chasing. She was trying to marry a professional athlete is what it looked like. But apparently not. Apparently not only was she trying to be a professional wag, a wife and girlfriend of a star, she was also very involved with political affairs in Washington, D.C. I go back over and over and over her resume. She graduates from Arizona State University in 2012. She was crowned Miss Arizona in November of 2011 for the year 2012. And then in 2013, she's globe hopping with professional athletes. So when is she very involved with political affairs in Washington, D.C.? When was this? Unless we're starting to get an idea of whether my theory from yesterday was correct. That she is sheep dipped. That she's always been very involved with political affairs in Washington, D.C. That she's always been a sheep dipped intel asset from the beginning. That's how she ended up in pageants. That's how she ended up putting herself in these different areas. Now, people get caught up on this Miss Erika Kirk thing from 612 weeks ago. Guys, when you change your Twitter or Instagram or Facebook name, it applies to all your previous stuff. It doesn't apply to the tags necessarily, but it does apply to the title itself. So in all likelihood, this said Erika Francve when she posted it back in May of 2014. But because she has since changed it to Miss Erika Kirk, when you go look at it now, it says Miss Erika Kirk. Don't get lost on that detail. Everybody, I put this on X yesterday and everybody got all bent out of shape about that. Don't let that bother you. Don't let that bother you. What should bother you is the fact that a girl who purportedly was just a recent college grad who's living with boys overseas, who then leaves that boy when he gets cut from the Pistons and immediately jumps in with another boy, and she's living with him in Tulsa and you know, spending all her time together with him. What you should be getting caught up in is why was the girl like that very involved with political affairs in Washington, D.C.? I don't know anyone who's ever described themselves that way. And trust me, ladies, I've met a lot of people over the course of my career who are, in fact, very involved with political affairs in Washington, D.C. I've represented some as lawyers. I've been friends with them. I've talked to them. I've gone to events with them. I've never heard anybody describe their life that way. And I put this in the context of my show yesterday, and I think, what was she doing? By gosh, I think we're onto something here. I do think I take her at her word in this tweet or this Instagram post, whatever it is. I take her at her word, ladies and gentlemen. I believe she was very interested in political affairs in Washington, D.C. by May of 2014. I also take her at her word, or other people's word, that her timeline seems to suggest the reason she was living in China was not humanitarian work at all, which is what she claimed, or her husband claimed. But she was just shacking up with a ball player in that town. That's the town. The town she claims to have lived in that video is the very town he was stationed as a ball player. And then she claimed to have lived in Puerto Rico. Well, he had just come from Puerto Rico. He left Puerto Rico to go to China. Which raises the question, was she freaking lying about what she was doing in China? And if she was lying about what she was doing in China, can we believe anything she says about what she's doing? Again, it goes to the sheep dipping. If you're willing to lie about your resume, there's a reason. And as we talked about, if you have not listened to the opening statement yesterday, you need to. It's critical. You have to go back and listen to it. Not now. Not now. Don't leave the program now. But go back after the program today ends. Go back and listen to the opening statement from yesterday. It lays out what I believe is a very compelling case that, in my opinion, she is a sheep-dipped intel asset. That all of the experience she accrued, the nonprofits, I'll show you something on that in just a second. The nonprofits, the streetwear company, the podcast, none of it was successful. None of it provided any actual real benefit to her life. All it did was pad her resume. And not padding a resume for the purpose of getting another job, padding her resume for the purpose of dipping over her true identity, which is very involved with political affairs in Washington, D.C. And I'm going to be very hard-pressed to be moved off of this opinion. Very hard-pressed to be moved off of this opinion. And what this should do is, and I know you guys watch, I've heard from your insiders, you people at TPUSA don't know what you're dealing with. Some of you do, and you're fine with it because it's benefiting you. But a lot of you don't. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know who your new CEO is. And I want you right here. You need to consider it. Is this the type of person you want to lead you? Is this your family leader? Is this who you want to be around? Is this who you want to be affiliated with when it all comes crashing down? When it all comes out? Because it's coming out. If you think this is as far as we've gotten in this research, you're out of your mind. It's coming out. You think we haven't talked to these people? If you go to the audition back on the Amazing Race audition, she mentions the fact that she went to school at Loyola Marymount at one time. Most people have heard that she went to Regis University and played ball. Most people have heard she graduated from Arizona State University. Now listen to the explanation she gives for why she had to move back and finish at Arizona State University. It's not consistent with reality. Again, when you're sheep dipped, you have to keep your story straight.
Of school, I went to, like I said, Regis University in Denver for basketball, and then transferred to Loyola Marymount University in LA. And then when I won Miss Arizona USA, I had to move back home to Arizona and finish at ASU just because I wanted to be in the state that I was representing. And
did you hear the timeline? It's an important timeline because it's not accurate. It's a lie. It's just a lie. Her lips move, lies fall out. She talks, she lies. I hate to be the one to explain it, but somebody has to be the guy. We cannot let this woman continue to accrue power and nobody vet her. She said, I went to Regis to play ball. She was there 2 years. We know that. Then she goes to Loyola Marymount. And then she wins Miss Arizona. And then because, I'll play it again if you need me to, because she wins Miss Arizona, She now has to transfer back because she wants to be in Arizona if she's going to be Miss Arizona. I'll play it one more time because it's a very important timeline, and I want you to hear it from her. Don't take my word for it. I want you to hear it from her because I'm going to show you something that shows everything she just said is a lie.
I took kind of the scenic route of school.
Are you kidding me? Who pulled that down? Oh, well. You guys heard it. You could go back later and, wow, video's unavailable. That happened to us once before, if you recall. You guys remember that? That happened once before? It's been set to private. Why would Project Constitution do that? I'm giving him the credit. His logo was on there. Anyway, irrelevant. Irrelevant why he set it to private. Or maybe someone at YouTube set it to private. Guys, you know you're watching the right show when this stuff happens. You know you're getting somewhere when this stuff happens. I spent 2 years at, actually, I have another one pulled up. I have another version of this pulled up. Let's see if it's still going to play. It might play. Let's see. If so, maybe we can get around this problem. We'll see. Moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Will we be able to get around it with a different copy? Let's find out.
Like I said, Regis University in Denver.
Nope, we're not. Okay. Over the target, ladies and gentlemen. Over the target. She went to Regis University. I wonder if the transcript is still up or if it's going to show that it's been set to private. No, it's still up. I'll just show you the transcript. We'll get around this one way or the other, guys. Here we go. Here is your transcript since we cannot play the video because it's been set to private. I'm hoping Project Constitution didn't do that, but here is the transcript if you want to read it. I went to, like I said, Regis University in Denver for basketball and then transferred to Loyola Marymount University in LA. And then when I won Miss Arizona, I had to move back home to Arizona and finish at ASU just because I wanted to be in the state I was representing. When I won, I had to move back. Well, I recall that coming out and thinking, that's really weird because I know she won Miss Arizona in November of 2011. And I know she graduated in the spring of 2012. If you win Miss Arizona in 2011 or November of 2011, and your story is, your official story is, I had to move back after I won, and then I moved back. If that's your story, then your only semester at Arizona State University is that spring semester of 2012. Taking you at face value, Miss Kirk or Miss Francevay. When I won, I had to move back. Well, let's look and see if that timeline makes sense. She won, as we know, in November of 2011. I'll give you proof of that just in case you don't believe me. I like to prove everything. That's the lawyer in me. I cite. This is an article published November 23, 2011. ASU senior wins Miss Arizona USA. UA senior runner-up. Erika Francevay of Scottsdale was crowned Miss Arizona USA on Sunday night. So we know this is accurate. This is the right timeline. November of 2011, she wins. According to her on that interview, that's when she had to move back. That's when she had to move back. But is that accurate? Is that consistent with what she has since put on her LinkedIn profile? Not at all. Not at all consistent. Because here is her LinkedIn profile. This is Erika Francevay, owner at Proclaim Streetwear. This is her educational history here. You see the 2 years at Regis. You see the 1 year at Loyola Marymount. And then she comes back to Arizona State University in the fall of 2010. This is more than a year before she wins Miss Arizona. But Baron, that seems awfully petty It's only 1 year difference. No. No, it's not petty at all. Not petty at all. She's misrepresenting her past, as she seems to have done every step of the way. Every step of the way. She seems to have misrepresented her past. Every time she mentions her past, it's misrepresented. Now, I will tell you something that I found very interesting. I myself, being a sleuth, I think men call themselves investigators. We're not mommy sleuths. Maybe daddy sleuths. I tried to find the program for the Arizona State University commencement of spring 2012. I'm not ascribing any ill motive to this, but it is impossible to find. I can find almost every other one. But the spring 2012 commencement program, which would list her and her awards, are not available that I can find. That doesn't mean she didn't graduate in 2012. It doesn't mean she didn't get the Summa Cum Laude award. It just means that there's this weirdness that if you get on the ASU website and you look at all the commencement programs, they start after that one. You can get the fall of 2012 up to today, but you can't get the spring of 2012. If you get on the Wayback Machine, where they should be, the Wayback Machine, the website doesn't even come up until, just a few, like, even though it's bookmarked every year, every step of the way, where all the commencement programs are housed, even though that's bookmarked and you can find all the rest of them, you can't find hers. They're shut down. It's not until you get later where there is only the 2012 fall and beyond that you can actually access the commencement programs. I looked on YouTube. A lot of people will film their commencement. They'll put it on YouTube. It was not filmed and put on YouTube. A lot of them are, but that one was not. That one was not. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the person who we're told is going to help the next president of the United States get elected. Basically pick the next president of the United States. Well, but you know she had that job. I mean, we know she was honest with the everyday heroes thing, right? We know that was accurate. We know that. Well, do we? Do we know that was accurate? Because I've got her 990s here from the IRS website. This is apps.irs.gov up here. You can see. I even chose not to just play you the window. I showed the whole screen over here so that you can see what website I'm on. This is the official IRS website. This is the official filings for everyday heroes like you. And you'll see over here in the right-hand column, gross receipts not greater than $50,000 in any single year. Gross receipts not greater than $50,000. 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 Gross receipts not. Where is this successful charity? Because again, we're told this is her training ground for running TPUSA. That is $100 million in the bank. That is part of 4 different charitable organizations that we know of. That's taking in hundreds of millions of dollars. And that she's the CEO of, unanimously appointed recently after her husband's tragic death. How do you run a charity and have that be the backbone of your story? And not one time did it ever have gross receipts of more than $50,000. How are you doing anything overseas? How did you even get there on less than $50,000? It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. On its face, when you listen to the story and you hear someone articulate the Erika Kirk story, when you hear it, you think, well, yeah, she sounds like she's got great. She has a streetwear company. She's got a Bible and 365 company. She's got a podcast. She had this wildly successful charity. She had a real estate career in New York City, of all places? No, none of it. None of it. She got a real estate license after she met Charlie Kirk. That's not like she had this long, involved real estate career. Her educational story doesn't make any sense. Her charity never made any money. There's no evidence that anyone actually wore that streetwear or purchased it even until after Charlie Kirk died, when everything magically sold out overnight because they probably didn't have any inventory because nobody bought it. You go back and look at her podcast. I mean, you're looking at hundreds of views on most of them, maybe a few thousand here or there. If you've ever been in this business, you know how hard it is to make any money with hundreds of thousands of views. You can still not make a lot of money. You're not making crap at 1,500 views. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. It's just reality. You are not surviving on that. So if you're not making money in the charity, if you're not making money in your streetwear, if you're not making money on your podcast, if you're not making money in your real estate career, where the hell are you making your money? Oh, I forgot. God, it makes sense now. Now it all comes together. He was very involved with political affairs in Washington, D.C. Now it all comes together. Now it starts to make sense. This is the only explanation for how she's had any success in her life, in my opinion. I remember when they were like, oh, she has an acting career. She was on a reality TV show. No, she was a guest appearance on a single episode, maybe two. And she was only a guest appearance because she happened to be living over the summer with a friend of hers at some house in the Hamptons. I don't bring this up to trash her. I don't bring this up to cause her any grief, any problems. I'm not targeting TPUSA. I'm not trying to get Democrats to win in the election in 2026. It has nothing to do with any of that. I bring it up because this woman's being foisted on us. Her organization is trying to get into every high school in America. Her spokesperson is on Fox News trashing any college that won't let this woman's organization in their college. They're data harvesting anybody who goes to church. Well, her mom is. And if this is what you want, if this is conservatism to you, if this is what the Republican Party is supposed to look like, go. Be supportive. Have at it. If this is what you want out of the organizations that helped select who the next nominee is going to be for president, I can't stop you. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm trying to educate you so that you can make an informed decision on whether or not this is the type of person you want to lead you. Because they're talking about running her for office. Frank Turek didn't just accidentally say that. That's what's known in politics as a trial balloon. You float the balloon up and you see how it's perceived. What if Frank Turek had said that and everybody was like, yeah, that's awesome. What a great idea. We should have Erika Kirk on the ticket. That'll galvanize everybody. I just feel bad for people that work there. I think most of them are probably pretty decent people and they just don't know what they're gotten themselves into. Speaking of people who work there or used to work there. You remember the girl, we covered this a few shows ago, the woman who was fired. That we couldn't decide if she was an actual employee or if she was a contractor. You remember this woman? Aubrey Leish. I found her eminently reasonable and believable. I'm not going to play her whole video here. I'm not going to go over it all. I've already done that, but I do want to play a few seconds just so you can remember who she is.
And I am the former public relations manager for Turning Point USA. And I was a part of the recent kind of mass termination group at Turning Point. And was let go about 3 weeks ago.
You remember her, right? Would you believe what happened to her today? You remember when Candace was fired from Daily Wire? And how she said they harassed her, and there's evidence that they're harassing her. We played that last night, the videotape. The videotape of Candace Owens being threatened, in my opinion. Well, this happened to Aubrey Lace today. This girl got fired through no fault of her own that I can tell. She was told that an Uber driver said she said something. I mean, that was the public thing we've been given. This happened to her today. This is the kind of thing that happens when you leave the mafia.
Your job? I work for a legal service.
Oh, for a legal
Yeah,
service?
my name's Mike.
Can I ask you what legal service that is?
It's a
And who do they represent that would have any interest
I
in?
have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm just a worker ant.
Yeah.
So
All right. Sounds good.
yeah, that was it.
Okay. So what's up? What's the deal here? Are you trying to like come intimidate us or?
No, no, sir.
No,
No,
not
no,
at all.
sir.
No.
No, not at all. I was just asked to take pictures. That's it.
Okay.
That was it.
You're just asked to come and take pictures of the house that we live at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And you
sir.
said your name is.
Yes.
What's your last name?
Uh,
Uh.
I don't give out my last.
Yeah,
name.
you don't
I'm
give out your
sorry.
last name. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I have this all documented right now, and
Okay.
I'm gonna report this to the police.
Okay.
I'm gonna get your license plate as well.
Okay.
And this is all gonna be documented.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No
So
problem.
yeah.
All right. It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
No problem.
So she gets fired, releases a video saying she got fired. Frankly, it was fairly complimentary video. I was kind of shocked she held back as much as she did. But then some investigator shows up for the legal services, taking pictures of her house and her car and stuff. Huh? That's a little weird. That's a little threatening to me. When I look at something like that, I think, not only would I call the police, I would probably confront the guy in a more aggressive fashion. I give the husband there a lot of credit. I give him a lot of credit. I think he held back nicely. If I felt like my former employer was harassing me by sending people to take pictures of my house, it would not end well. Would not end well at all. It seems a little bit more cultish than it seems like a job place to work. Maybe that's why she was go journal, go tell your friends, go tell your family, go talk about it with your kids. Just a totally bizarre set of circumstances. A totally bizarre set of circumstances. I worry for this girl's safety. I think she needs to take safety precautions at this point. Serious safety precautions at this point. And I think she needs to take legal action to find out who that was. Because he's not going to tell her. I think she needs to take legal action. If I'm her, I'm consulting with an attorney today or tomorrow about who do I sue in order to find out who that is. Is it Erika personally? Is it TPUSA? Is it him as an individual? Who do I sue to find out why I get fired? I release a video explaining why I got fired. And now all of a sudden, investigators are showing up on behalf of some legal services to take pictures of my house. That's what I would do. Someone said the sound is hot. I think different people are having different experiences with the sound. I did attempt today to crank the sound up a little bit in the system to give it a little more oomph going out. So if that may be that I sound slightly different, maybe I need to keep working on it. I've not tested it really much beyond that. But I will do my best. Guys, I appreciate it. Again, yesterday I apologize for skipping that super chat. I would never pull one up on the screen, stare at it, and then not answer it. Not that, I mean, unless something crazy is going, unless it says something nuts in it. So what did we learn today? We learned the Super Bowl halftime show outrage was a little ludicrous. There's no reason to take sides. We learned that it's obviously ideological or financial. That they just saw an opportunity to make money or saw an opportunity to divide, one or the other, because there's really no third option where you would have an idea of why somebody would want to do that. We learned a little bit about the history of counter programming and why people did it in the past and whether or not it was successful. Second thing we learned is Erika Kirk's background story falls apart as soon as you start looking at it. We learned that a little bit a couple of days ago. We talked about sheep dipping, or yesterday. We talked about sheep dipping. As soon as you start pressing even ever so slightly into her past, it just falls apart. We're going to take a look at her parents at some point in the near future. We've got a lot of research going on there. We've got more research to talk about with Erika. And this series, this portion of the series is just getting going, just getting underway. So I hope you guys stay tuned as we talk about this more and more coming on into the future. Because this to me is a very hot subject, a very, very hot subject. And I'm not going to put it down as long as this woman is controlling who's going to win the presidency of the United States. As long as this organization is still in control of that woman, I'm not going to stop. It's too important. Too important. Can you all pray for my husband? He just went into the hospital again. We have him in a nursing home. I couldn't take care of him anymore. He's still so young. Lost his legs, hand. I feel sad for him. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes, we should all pray. We all should pray. That is just horrific. And I'm sorry to hear that. And I hope nothing but the best comes from that. I'm sorry to hear that. From the Grumblers, May 16th is also my husband's birthday. Stalking for my friends really paid off with my ADHD pondering of why about everything. Baron, you've made my week an entire year. Well, okay. Happy to have been at your service, young lady. I may have missed the discussion, but didn't UVU recommend using the campus auditorium because they were concerned about such an open venue? Early on, I thought Candace brought it up. Love your opening statement. God bless. I'd have to go back and look. I don't recall that off the top of my head. I don't recall that, but it's possible. Baron, my husband says our cat has Erika eyes. What do you think? Profile photo. Her name is Otto, and today is her birthday. I can't see. It's too small, but I take your word for it. A lot of people think cats are demons. On brand. That would fit. Lots of speculation. EK was having an affair, and CK found out, seeing this everywhere. Have you found any evidence of this? No comment on that. I'm not going to comment on that part. You know, if I would only comment on that if it was relevant to all of this. Obviously, with a dead man involved, it would be relevant, but I would have to have definitive proof before, to me, it became relevant. Well, she cut the basketball player and went to the baseball player. So quickly smiling, saying, sex sells, babe. Why do we think she would ever grieve CK? She finally found her golden ticket. Cha-ching. I agree with you. I mean, that's kind of the way it looks to me. Hi, Baron, had to play catch up on your show at midnight last night. As I watched Super Bowl with 90-year-old dad. Great show, by the way. Had never, ever seen a commercial on that word until last night. Yeah, did you see the commercial that followed it? It was a talking toilet bowl. And, oh, man, there were people just bent out of shape on X today about it. How could you follow that commercial with a talking toilet bowl? I don't know. The whole commercial series is weird. My message wasn't clear yesterday, but I feel I feel getting E to G word, a KD, was part of being initiated into Intel. Great way to make her prove herself. Getting Erika to to condition a child is what you're saying. Was part of being initiated into Intel. Great way to make her prove herself. Maybe that could be. I hadn't considered that. Fellow parent of many, 6 boys and 1 girl. Wow, 7. 2 podcasts. Calm Connection Parenting regarding HDAD meltdowns. Pray I grow, reach, and impact lives like you. Thanks. I wish you the best of luck. You got a tough road to hoe with 7 kids. That's a lot. I know from experience how many that. Can you share what evidence leads you to think Tyler Robinson wasn't supposed to survive September 10th? You were great on Jimmy Dore. Yeah, thank you for that compliment first. I just look at how poorly the case has been constructed and how sloppily the op was run, that nobody would be looking into this if he had died. I mean, that's the answer. So you're really left with only one conclusion. They were not anticipating investigations. They were not anticipating lawyers asking questions. Do you realize the lawyers at the last hearing asked about us and whether the prosecution or whether the police had investigated our theories? Not our, meaning Baron Coleman's, but ours, meaning everybody who's done any of this investigation, shots from different angles. Maybe it wasn't a gun. You realize they asked the prosecution that? Or they asked the police that? The investigator? It gave me hope. I had just learned that today. Gave me hope that they might be doing a good job after all. Best show on YouTube. Well, thank you. Saw you on Jimmy Dore. So happy for you and your influence. Been loving the restoration of my happiness and sobriety journey. Going strong, day 10. Slightly lighter. I bet you feel a lot lighter. I bet you feel day 10, man. It's not all mental by this point. You still have a little physical, but it's mostly mental from here on out. If you can get past day 10, it's mostly mental. So just know that. Just know that. Hey, here's a key. Keep your blood sugar from dropping. In other words, don't start your day with a bowl of cereal, because then your blood sugar drops. Then you're going to want alcohol, because your body equates alcohol with a quick blood sugar boost. Alcohol is just sugar. So keep your blood sugar level, protein and fat mixed in with those carbs, and dial the carbs back a little bit. Don't drink sodas and stuff like that. Those things make you want to drink alcohol. I know. Check out Sean Ryan Show episode 262. Leah Rosa specifically talks about the role of being involved with targets. It's a great perspective. Duly noted. Thank you. Hi, Baron. Watch Tim Dillon's latest show. He speculated that the Clintons will take everyone down with them during the live hearing. Any thoughts? I like Tim Dillon, but I don't agree with that take. I think they want to testify live instead of behind closed doors in order to burn Donald Trump to the ground. That's my speculation. I don't think they want to take everyone down. Be careful about Bitcoin. Ed Farina did a great breakdown on it and its shady origin. His X account was taken down and he left social media for months. Yeah, I've been warned. I had a whole show lined up and I was going to dive through it, and I was warned. And so I'm still contemplating how to cover it. I want to be honest and thorough, no speculation, but I also want to share what I know. So it's the show's in progress. I can't do EK vice president. I feel like Israel is running Trump's agenda and ruining Trump's agenda and reputation. BB will be in DC Wednesday. Hard to argue with that, but again, Donald Trump is the president of the United States. He ultimately calls the shots, and if his reputation's being ruined, his agenda's being ruined, he is only the man in the mirror to blame. Shout out to Michael Jackson in the 1993 Super Bowl that changed everything. A great show from Texas. Well, thank you. Very kind donation, excuse me. Big thank you from Tennessee. Baron, my man, I love you. Well, I love you too, darling Jamini. Just found out about you on the Candace show. Since then, you've been my second favorite YouTuber. Well, that's high praise. There's a lot of good YouTubers out there. Playing devil's advocate, EK may have been prescribed something to help sedate her in the days following his death. May explain her Zoom behavior. Yeah? Coulda. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Perhaps. Check out the documentary Marching to Zion featuring Pastor Stephen Anderson. Tons of info, and it explains a lot. Go Max, Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I probably won't watch it, but I believe you. I don't want to lie to you and say I'm going to check it out if I'm not going to. I've got a lot to do, and I'm probably familiar with what its position is going to be, what it's going to say. I did, however, go on to TPUSA and ask them why they killed Charlie, best believe that one. And I said, stop using God to hide evil and Charlie to get rich. Well, they're not going to do either of those. That's not on the agenda, good sir, ma'am. That's not on the agenda, I can assure you. Surely EK's narcissism isn't so big that she thinks she can be VP. She had to know that was never going to work. Giving Kamala vibes, laugh, and all. That's a cackle. That's a cackle, young lady. I Am May's song Good Citizen would have been epic at the halftime show. If you haven't heard it, you need to. Ian Carroll got me on it, and it's amazing. I'm sure it is. If Ian recommended it, it's probably fantastic. I'm really surprised no one's looked into EK's sister, Tanya. Ancestry lists her parents as Loretta Ann and Kent Randall Francevay. Not sure how accurate that is. I just find it odd. I know she took Kent's last name. We've done that research, and I can tell you that I don't believe he's the birth father, the genetic birth father, but that's coming in a later show. That's not tonight. That's not tonight. I think we found out who the father was. I now call Candace Katniss Owens. I'm guessing that's a movie reference because I remember when that name was floating around quite a bit. Does our membership automatically renew each month? I hope so. I don't know. I don't know how they work. I hope so too. I love having you guys. I'm going to do a member show probably tomorrow, actually. I believe it's going to be tomorrow, probably around 2:00 in the afternoon, if I had to guess. I've got to coach at noon, and then I shouldn't tell everybody where I'm going to be. I have to go to the grocery store at noon. The grocery store on the other side of the state. I'm going to be in Clarksville doing grocery shopping. And then I'll come back and do a live show after that. I don't know. This girl's got people showing up at her house. I don't want them showing up at my house. I'm over 50. And for years, I really thought Fox was the antidote to propaganda. I thought Trump would save the USA and bring back Christianity. I truly believe God is using you, Candace Owens, others to shine his light and give us eyes to see the devil and darkness. Well, that's big shoes to fill. I, too, used to watch Fox religiously. I remember I was in college when it came out. It was like 98, 99. I watched it every day. I don't know if that's when it came out. That's when I discovered it. It was like 1998. I watched it every day. In fact, I think it was channel 98. You know, we had basic cable and it went up to like channel 34 and that was MTV. And then it was static after that. And you had to go all the way to 98 and 99 to find MSNBC and Fox News. CNN was like 12. You know, they got their own low number channel because they were sort of the first of the business. But, yeah. So I too, I mean, those are big shoes to fill, but I too used to feel that way. So don't feel foolish for thinking that. You mentioned The Rock. When you punch Dwayne Johnson in the butt, you've hit rock bottom. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I was on the field for the 1993 halftime with Michael Jackson. We rehearsed the day before and got to meet Emmanuel Lewis, Michael Jordan, and Magic. Didn't see much of the game. Players too tall. Lifelong memory. Oh, that sounds like a cool memory. You got to see Michael Jackson live. My kids liked Michael Jackson. Do you have opinions on the possibility of Michael Jackson's death because he was against child conditioning? Paul Walker's death possibly tied to being a possible Clinton Foundation whistleblower. Christ is King. Blessings to you. Yeah, Christ is King indeed. I don't have a theory on that. I do think he was killed purposely. I mean, it's just a gut instinct I have. It's an opinion. I'm not stating that with certainty. I know somebody was found, I think, either liable or manslaughter or something, guilty of manslaughter. There was some legal finding relative to that some malfeasance had taken place, but I don't remember the exact charge or what the conviction was. But I don't know what it was about. I mean, I know Candace's theory that they were trying to steal his music, and then just seems pretty accurate to me. But there could be others. I haven't looked too deeply into it. Baron, how could you skip over the best Super Bowl halftime show? Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers in 2008. American Girl, I Won't Back Down, Free Falling, Running Down a Dream, Christ is King. I don't remember him singing Christ is King. No, Christ is King indeed. Hey, listen, it was great. I love Tom Petty. I hate that he died. I listen to Tom Petty to this day from time to time. I might listen to him tonight, as a matter of fact, now that you mention him. If a picture of EK in the hotel lobby exists, why not release it? What are we waiting for? Well, if you had perfect timing, wouldn't you open your own show and do it? Guys, I hear this a lot. You either trust what's happening or you don't. If you don't, what are you doing here? And I'm not telling you to run off. I'm just saying, why would you listen to someone you don't trust? When she realized there, in all likelihood, is a picture of her at Fort Huachuca, in my opinion, when she realized that, efforts to establish an alibi that weekend have stalled. Why not let her continue to flail? Why not let her continue to flail? If a picture comes out, now she has the ability to attack it. She has the ability to offer an explanation. But with the position she's in now, she does not. I'm just telling you guys, just sit back, let things develop. If you think we've been doing a poor job investigating this, no one's holding you hostage. I read you could now redact with Grok by asking about pixels, a series of 2. I don't know what that means. I read you could now redact with Grok by asking about pixels, a series of 2s. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I'm not familiar with it. I'm assuming that has to do with the Einstein emails. I got unsubbed from your channel and haven't gotten notifications either. Ugh. Have you seen anything on text going out to random people wanting to know your thoughts on Philly? I got one and had fun. I got a fundraising email from Tyler Boyer. It was repulsive. The idea that these guys were conning people out of more money is just ludicrous. The Democrats never sleep. They're raising money. We got to raise money. Give me $5. Give me $10. Give me anything you got. I'll take it. Bro, you've got to stop that. You guys have to stop it. It's unbecoming of you at this point. It is so greedy. It is so nasty. It's so gross. You guys made so much money in the wake of his death. Stop asking for money. I'm sorry you got unsubbed. I hope you resubscribed. I've heard it's happened to other people as well, though. Certainly the notifications. Make sure your subscription and notification are accurate. If you've not subscribed, click notifications. Like the video, go like the video. I sometimes check in the middle of the show just to make sure you guys are doing your job. I will do so now. 22,500 people watching. Only 7,000 of you like the show. What are the other 15,000 hate us? Thanking BC Queen, Candace Owens, PM, Tucker Carlson, Inspecta, I am. Oh my gosh, the coach, now SC for Hope, Truth, from what stopped your podcast, Christ King Go Max. I think I understood all that, and thank you, I think is what I'm supposed to say. Christ is King indeed. Your humor and love for Jesus helped me awful bout of empty nester syndrome. Do you think Charlie was relieved Trump was elected because he would be pardoned? Well, he was never pardoned because he was never charged. But he did say with certainty that he told a young man at the University of Florida that the reason he cried was because he feared he would go to prison and not be with his family, that the Trump administration was investigating him. So, I mean, do with that what you will. I've made my suggestions of what that might mean. Have you seen EK's speech at high school done by Project Constitution for Club America? I can't watch Project Constitution videos. They get marked private in the middle of our show. I have to ask him if that was him, if he did that on purpose. That was nuts. EK was mess, late, unkempt, couldn't enunciate, students almost standing ovation, can't unsee it, a farcical overreach, and EK slop. I did see clips of that. She looked like she just woke up. Billed as a horror film. Rosemary's Baby was directed by Roman Polanski. whose 8.5 months pregnant wife would be ritually sacrificed the next year, was the film a documentary. No, I don't think so. And there's no evidence that I've seen that Roman Polanski was involved in Sharon Tate's murder. But that doesn't mean he wasn't. But I think I think it was an intelligence operation gone terribly awry. Again, I know Candace has recommended this book. I read this book years ago. It's phenomenal. It's called Chaos by Tom O'Neill. It's on my list of top 10 books. You guys asked me to come up with a list of top 10 books. It's on the list. On the list. It explains a lot of what happened in there. Someone make a clip of Baron reading Ba with the Ba lyrics and put it to music. Come on, internet, do your thing. That's funny. See, you made me laugh. Can you find the video of the necklace and get a close-up pic of it? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm trying to see if it was burnt or black, maybe. I tried that. It's very difficult. The pictures we have are very low quality. I'd like to see Bugs Bunny. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's code to someone else or... EK behavior with Jill reminds me of my former coworker who behaved this way with a young girl I work with. Inappropriate pics on IG, almost kissing. I work for a Christian ministry. They infuriate us too. That's terrifying. My goodness. And JD and EK ticket is dumb. Imagine EK debating. That was my thought. She's not done well holding herself up in conversation yet. The wall-to-wall coverage of Nancy Guthrie's bizarre. Agreed. They agreed to pay ransom. Why didn't they? PSYOP. Tucson is 1.5 hours away from Fort Huachuca. I saw something even weirder, and I don't know if it was AI or what. But someone posted a video of where they read the letter talking about, you know, my mom's great. Talk to her. You'll find out. It kind of mimicked the Silence of the Lambs speech. But in the video, it looked to me like Savannah Guthrie had 6 fingers. Does she have 6 fingers? Or is that an AI video? Or did I see some corrupted copy of that image? I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. Please keep reading Kid Rock lyrics. That was the absolute best opening statement yet. I hear Joe is here. Joe, you here? Thank you, Baron, for the laugh. Well, if she is, I've got a book waiting for her. I haven't heard from her since. TPUSA is looking to brainwash the entire world. I've stopped watching the NFL. It's fixed and greedy. And since Charlie's murder, I'd never support them. Thank you for your insight. Love show. I don't have any problem with any of that. I haven't watched hardly any NFL this year. I did go to an NFL game with my son because they're fun in person. And the Colts were in town playing the Titans. And my 17-year-old and I went. We stayed it was hot. It was like 90 degrees and the sun was blazing. There were no clouds. But we had a good time. But I don't sit down and watch it on television anymore, really. And I didn't watch any of the playoffs and I didn't watch Super Bowl. That's the NFL to me cooked itself with the stupid political stuff the last few years. Is it possible this was to be a stint and it went terribly wrong? I've addressed that and I think it's highly possible. Not highly possible. I think it's possible. I think it's a greater than 0% chance that it was a fake operation that went terribly awry. That is why everyone has different stories and acting off. I hope Charlie wouldn't do this, but between Candace's story and others coming out, I don't know anymore. Have you watched the Jesse on Fire video, the part 1? He said there's a part 2 coming. I don't know if it's out yet or not. About setting up the possibility that Charlie faked it. I'm not there yet. I'm not there that he faked it. But I'm partially there, less than 50%, but partially there that there may have been an operation to make it look like he was shot and that the operation went wrong and he died. Or the operation was used for nefarious purposes and he died. One of those two. I'm not more than 50% of the way there. I'm still over 50% that he had no idea what was about to happen. But I can't get over the fact that he appeared to brace right before it happened. And that haunts me. Now it's possible he just, was holding in a fart or something. I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. Possibly he was getting ready to sneeze. I mean, people make that face for other reasons than bracing for impact. I commented back in December about you and Candace inspiring me to return to Mass. Been going weekly since. My 2 teens have now joined me the past 2 weeks, and my husband, and who always refuses to go, is now considering it. Christ is King. My priest this weekend gave a great homily. A shout out to him. I don't want to say his name, but I just don't want, I don't know why, but I don't want people showing up or whatever. I do want people showing up to mass, so find a local church to go. But he gave a great homily where he said that, you know, his mother quietly went to mass and set a good example her whole life, and his father just stubbornly refused to go. And then one day the father was like, come on, let's get ready. We're going to mass. And he just started going, you know, and his homily was basically like, look, sometimes you just live a good life and those around you will see it. Not unlike Erika Kirk's last podcast we played yesterday. Hi, Baron. I tell kids and grandkids they will always know how old I am because I'm the same age as the Super Bowl. Now it just doesn't mean the same. Well, that's interesting. It means you were born in what, 67, 66? Hope you're still planning a deep dive into Stacey Sheridan. Oh, she's on the list. She's also gone by Stacey Taylor. I knew that. You telling me stuff I don't know? Since her husband passed away. So sus. Yeah, I know. I'm way past Stacey Taylor. I'm talking to people who used to work with her at other organizations. Guys, I mean, we're deep. I'm deep on Stacey Sheridan. Some of them live in the area. Brandy and B's first show at 1955. Brandy and Billy. McClintock said that Aubrey Leish, the fired TPUSA employee, texted him at 2 a.m. on 9/11 to see if he was at UVU on the 10th. Hey, you know what? I remember him saying that. I didn't put the 2 and 2 together. That's really interesting. I would like to ask her about that. Aubrey, if you're listening, I would love to know more about that text. Not that Aubrey's listening, but just on the off chance she is. I'd love to know more about that text. The circumstances around it, the conversation that was going on. This is a good catch. Who was that? Aurora Gal. Nicely done, Aurora Gal. Humbled when you mentioned showing a clip from someone TN at Media Empire for a moment. I thought it could be me. Stoked. Until I realized TN is also where Ben Shapiro parks his pony. So Skarika, I saw your video on that. It was hilarious. You're like, wait a minute. He's going to show a video from someone that has a media empire in Tennessee. Is he talking about us? That made me laugh. You got me. I'll be honest with you. You got me. Sent Roger Stone to you a few weeks ago when you mentioned him. He credits me for bringing him to the health freedom movement 10 years ago. Mentioned you, Baron, on my podcast today. God bless. Lori, the Mom Street Journal podcast. Well, thank you, I guess. I don't know what brought him to me means, but sent Roger Stone to you. I don't know what that means, but thank you. I genuinely appreciate it. Whatever you're saying you did. Please look into the 600,000 Chinese students that Trump approved for our colleges. Well, you want me to investigate all 600,000 of them? What particular aspect of them do you want me to look into? My niece is in 4th grade. Is already learning the Chinese language. I do not feel comfortable with this. Am I looking too far into this or not? Thank you. Yeah, probably. I don't think Chinese people should get 600,000 visas to the United States. Chinese students to compete against Americans. I just don't think that's right. But as far as your niece learning Chinese, I mean, it's a global commercial language. I don't think there's harm in learning the language. Now it's weird to me that TPUSA is stocked so completely with people who speak fluent Russian. That's a difficult language to learn. That's always weirded me out. There's like 3 of them I know of that are either married to someone or that they themselves speak Russian. Weird. And we're talking people at the top, not not the accountant for doing payroll. So yeah, that's a little weird. The Chinese though, I don't think that's. I mean, it's like learning Spanish. You probably wouldn't hurt to know a little Spanish to get around. Why is it always the hot ones that are bat doo-doo crazy? Slash your tires, join a cult, convert. Who's the hot one? Surely not the one I think you're talking about. Bro, 6.5. 6.5. Brilliant take on TPUSA's motive to offer an alternative before they know next year's headliner. Can't stand how egotistical and out of touch they are, not to mention completely crooked and corrupt. Can't wait for the truth to come out. Well, that's all your opinion. Not that I don't share a lot of it, but let's not state it as fact. We got to state things as opinion on this program. Yeah, the whole offering, like committing to doing an alternative. What if next year they do like I don't know, who's a hot country act right now? Like 2 country singers, and they come out and they're like in red, white, and blue and stars, and they sing "God Bless America," and they, have a giant flag. And like Jesus, they get like a picture of Jesus in the background on the Jumbotron. You're gonna counter program that? Grand jury, I'm secretly a member of BBN. I don't think you're too secret. I see your logo. Too many Catholics that I trust. 2 of the many Catholics I trust are you, Barron, and Dr. Taylor Marshall. If you haven't heard his podcast, do check him out. God bless you and yours. I have heard his podcast. I've heard him for years. I don't remember when he converted. What was that, 10, 12 years ago now? Post Malone and Jelly Roll. Yeah, that'd be a good one. You going to counter program that? I need a written timeline of all these dates. Well, you've got the show. Go back, take notes. I can't do everything. Hi, big fan for a super chat. Please wish my friend Sarah a happy birthday. Happy birthday. She's watching now. I don't know how old you are, Sarah, but we know. She's 29. I know that. I know how old women are. Can someone please acknowledge the new Dan Bongina is not the old Dan Bongina? They look nothing alike. I feel like I'm going crazy. I've acknowledged that. He looks totally different. That's why, I don't know. You guys aren't required to watch all 12 hours every week. It would help. You would be informed and entertained. But it's not required. No one's forcing you to do it. But I raised this issue, and I said that the reason I think he delayed coming back on his podcast is he had to let the facial surgery heal. He looks totally different. And I don't think it's like Wegovy. Stream text. Thank you. Yeah, I ought to make all of you pay a stream text. No, I'm just kidding. 2 viewers, refresh your app to fix the sound. Oh, I didn't know it was broken. When giving advice for waiting well for marriage, EK, get your blood checked every 6 months. Charlie Kirk added, don't have the S word before marriage, and she repeated it. Don't fit the image. It's the posed image. I mean, we've identified multiple people she lived with before. or purportedly lived with, allegedly lived with. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they were just cooking chili. As a Melbourneian myself, your pronunciation was great. Where so many get it wrong. Best wishes from down under. Oh, Melbourne? Well, thank you. If all I got to do is say Melbourne, I get 8 Australian bucks. I'll say it again. Melbourne. Talking about Melbourne? It's up to $16. You owe me. Sent email at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time about Erika tweeting weird, nasty content with her own mom in 2012. Well, I would love to see that. Actually, I don't want to see it, but I'd love to not see it and see it. Have you seen the colored dots on Frank Turk's phones about 1 minute prior to the bang? Top cap and gown opener, Baron. Thank you for the cap and gown compliment. Have I seen the dots? It wasn't 1 minute. It was like less than a second before. But yeah, I've seen it. There's like 3 distinctive white dots that show up about, I think it's less than a second before. Like nearly simultaneously with the Big Bang. So yeah, I've seen it. Whoa, Rosie. Man, you make me want to sing that AC/DC song about Rosie. Thank you, Rosie. Genuinely. Thank you. Thank you. Baron, my invisible strings bit me, and your words inspiration. Had a spiritual experience last Thursday morning. Your words top of mind night before. Find myself spreading light to my friends and even my sis, who's 10 years older. Never imagined myself to be that person. Plan to email all the details. Thank God for you and this grand jury. Please email me those details. That sounds like something I want to read about. Will you put Rosie in the subject line so I don't miss it, please? That's amazing. That's amazing. When just be like I tell people, just be yourself. Like, don't force it. Some people are not comfortable, but some people are very comfortable and they should be themselves. Don't hold back. And some people get struck with an inspirational moment. share it in the moment. You know, we're all different people. We have all different personalities. EK is dough, sauce, cheese, meat. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Baron, do we know if there's a marriage certificate, if it's been authenticated? Well, we don't. We know they didn't get married in church. They got married at a TPUSA event, weird enough. It was like the 9th anniversary of TPUSA or something. What a weird time to get married. Shouldn't drink the rest of this coffee at 8:30, should I? That'd be a bad mistake. Gosh, it looks good, though. Maybe I'll just smell it. Ooh, that's... I'll just have one more sip. I could smell it generating aura over there. Now, I'd love to see the marriage certificate. If anybody has a copy of it, email me, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Daisy, if you're listening, we're looking for marriage certificates now. Is the Charlie Erika? Let me tell you, Daisy's amazing. I don't care what it is, she'll find it. All I got to do is kind of mention that I'm looking for something, and then like an hour later, I got it all detailed out, hyperlinked, descriptions. She's fantastic. Fantastic. Is the Charlie Erika age gap odd? Yes. Charlie was a week older than me, March 2013. I was 19 years old. Erika was 25. Maybe it's just me, but at 32, I would not marry a man 5 years younger than me. It's a little odd. I mean, historically, I married a woman 15 months older than I am, but historically, people marry within a couple of years of themselves. And typically, if there's a larger age gap, the man is marrying the younger woman. Well, think about it. Biologically, it makes sense. I hate to bring nature into it, but it makes sense. If you are a 31-year-old man and you marry a 36-year-old woman, time's a ticking if you want to start a family. Like you only have so much time left. The spigot runs dry at some point. I don't mean that in an ugly way. I mean it in a very serious way. Whereas if you're a 36-year-old man and you marry a 31-year-old woman, time is your friend. You have plenty. I mean, you could have more time if they were 21, but you have plenty of time left. You don't have to rush anything if you want to have a couple of 3 kids. And so it's a little unusual in nature for the woman to be 5 years older. I'll just be honest. It's unusual. Not unprecedented. It's not wrong. It's not gross. It's not dirty. It just bucks the example that nature has given us over the millennia. That's all. According to Google, Erika was married to a Derek Chelsvig around 2012, between 2015 and 2017. You may want to look into this. I want to say I did look into that shortly after the Big Bang. And I don't think we concluded it was accurate. I can't remember why, though. I don't know. One of the problems with Google providing this AI response at the top of every search now, one of the problems with people going to Grok to answer questions, Chat GPT to answer questions, these are good tools. But the way I use these tools is I go and I ask a question. Was Erika Kirk married before Charlie Kirk? And I get an answer. I don't accept the answer. I don't accept it. I say, provide me links that support your answer. Oftentimes, the answer you'll get back is, oh, I've made a mistake. I can't find a link that supports that. And what that's telling you is these algorithms are trained on Reddit, on Twitter, on Facebook, on, just message boards, and they're not always accurate. But if you ask them now, and you can even say, don't guess, don't make inferences, only provide me answers that you can provide links for, and provide me a link for the answer, and then click the link. And then go see where it takes you and see what the link says. Now, where's that link? Did it take me to a Reddit link? Well, I'm not going to believe that necessarily. I mean, maybe. Did it take me to an X post? Well, where did that person get that information? So it takes more than that. That's why it takes me so long to put this show together. Every time I come up with a fact, I have to double check it and make sure it's accurate. And I'm sure something gets by me from time to time. I get some year wrong or some date wrong or some name wrong. Because you have to use these tools. Like even if you Google something, Erika Kirk, Derek Chelsvig, wedding date and you come up with an answer, you can't just put that into your opening. You have to then think, is that accurate? Where did they get that? Why do I think that? What evidence do they have to support that? Now, if you're looking at a wedding announcement at the Phoenix Star or whatever the local rag is out there, that's different. But if you're just looking at, whatever. Baron, EK has the Midas touch curse. Yeah. Jim Croce had a great line in one of his songs. Your golden tongue has turned to rust. I think it's right. Your golden tongue has turned to rust. Jim Croce, right? Let me look that up real fast. I don't want to get that quote wrong because he's one of the greatest singer-songwriters of all time. A top 5 for me. Golden tongue has turned to rust. I think that's right. Yes. One less set of footsteps. Golden tongue has turned to clay. Excuse me. And today has turned to dust. Your silver tongue has turned to clay. Your golden rule to rust. Guys, I butchered the quote. This is why I look stuff up. See, I wouldn't just put it in the opening. I'm not just going to tell you the answer at the comments. Today has turned to dust. Your silver tongue has turned to clay. Your golden rule to rust. I'm sure that has something to do, Constance, with what you just said. Allegedly. Let's see if you guys have picked up on the liking at all. Not much. We're only at 9,200. You got to do better. Click the like button. It helps the program. I lost my dad to ALS a year and a half ago. Oh, my gosh. Guys, you guys break my heart. Even though we knew his passing was imminent, losing him has wrecked us. We all grieve differently, but I'm baffled by EK's reaction and the way she uses the word dead so loosely. Grief is a beast, not a spectacle. And I'm sure I don't have to point this out to you. That's a tough way to go. It also reminds me of one of my very favorite conspiracy theories, that Stephen Hawking had been dead for decades and that they were just using him. And I believe that one, by the way. They were just using some other guy as Stephen Hawking. Same thing with Helen Keller. She wasn't saying all that stuff. They just used her too. I'm sorry that you lost your dad, Aggie girl, and I understand what you're saying about grief. Do I think it's possible that a woman could lose her husband in a shocking, tragic, and unexpected way and act as if Erika Kirk has acted? Sure, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible that a meteorite's going to come through this window at any moment and land on the desk unharmed. And I'm going to touch it and it's going to burn my hands. But it didn't happen. And that's kind of where I am with Erika. Is it possible? Yeah. But I don't think it happened. So thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, I got to go into my Stephen Hawking. I'll do it as an opening one day. How about that? I'll do my Stephen Hawking as an opening. Except I have to play some clips, and I don't usually play clips in my opening. They just lied. That dude wasn't saying any of that stuff. Before he had a computer that allegedly interpreted everything, they just had a guy sitting next to him, and he would hear Stephen Hawking mumble, and then he would make all these deeply profound statements. And I'm not making fun of handicapped people when I do this. I have to get into character. But Stephen Hawking would go and the guy would say, well, I was drawn to astrophysics when I was in 5th grade. And that's when I discovered the God particle, the Higgs boson. And I just knew that it had to be there somewhere in the universe, creating mass from all this energy. And that's when I knew that if we could just electrify. Bull butter, you're lying. He's not saying that. He's gurgling. It's not a thing. Same thing with Helen Keller, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to be the one to break it to you. That was a scam. Can we not say Erika Kirk and Vice President or Lady Garden in the same sentence? I just got done eating. Well, beautiful bean footage. I'm going to let all the jokes go right on by. Is it me or do her lies never stop? No, I've not seen a limit to them, sir. Baron, hold, please. I'm holding. Oh. Do we know any friends of EK from growing up? No. Also, when did Charlie figure her out? He had a look on his face in many interviews telling, I do think he figured her out. And I think he was tired of her bull butter towards the end. You could see like the time that he was in that interview and she didn't know what date they were married. You could just see him like, how much longer am I going to put up with this? You know, it's almost like a kill or be killed situation. I believe the night before Charlie Kirk's death, after the Zoom call, the walk, and the text, he had a fight with EK about his feelings. Things were revealed. He threw his jewelry at her and slept in his daughter's bed to get away from her. Not a bad theory. Not a bad theory at all. I don't have anything to support it, other than I know they were having marital problems. Hey, Barrett, in my opinion. Hey, Barrett, I love your show. All this creepy behavior from America's past is so disturbing. She needs to seriously stop in the name of God and repent. He will not be mocked. Christ is king. Go Max. And the church said, Amen. Amen. I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't dealing with a broke man. EK left Josh Harrelson right after he got cut. That's the timeline as I see it. That's the timeline as I see it. She knew the end was coming. He'd been deactivated and reactivated, but not played, and then finally deactivated for good. And then a week later or less, she is dating the new love of her life in Scottsdale, Arizona. We are EK's friends. Does she have any? Anyone she grew up with, school, dated? Odd we haven't heard anyone's personal opinions on her character. They might be afraid they're going to die. I mean, I hate to be the one to point it out. Oh, the grand jury's weighing in. Go Max, Christ is king. Wow. How did you guys figure out how to put messages in there? Baron finds the wags for the teammates they played with. Wags know everything. Oh, find the wags. You should have put a comment there. She's been looking for her daddy all her life and found the devil. Is that a quote? Hey, Baron, when did EK live in Venice? She said she did, like in the film Romy and Michelle. I don't know. Probably when she was at Loyola, if I had to guess. Let me look at a map. Is Venice close to LAX? Because Loyola is right there. Venice, California. Let's look and see where it is. Oh, yeah, that's when. Like, look, I'll show you the map. This has got to be when it was. So she would have been there about a year. So this is LAX right here. This is this light blue. This is LAX. That's Loyola right there. I mean, it's right there. And then that's Venice. Like, that's 2 kilometers between those two. And, I mean, it's all right there together. So almost assuredly, that's when it was. If we're putting together a map in addition to our timeline. Shout out and chat and mods y'all rock. Yeah. TPUSA at 0.3% metrics after the Queen called them out. Mostly negative comments. CO is at 3.2 million and 0.9. They are arguing with math with this blah. This is TPUSA's high IQ outfit at its finest. Yeah. I was trying to explain this earlier to Mrs. Coleman, because she didn't understand what Candace was talking about with the purchasing of views. So when you have an organic program, if you get 200,000 views, in all likelihood, you'll have in the neighborhood of 20,000 likes. It's about 10% on average. When you have, then you take 10% of that, and that's about how many comments you'll get. So on like last night's show, let's pull it up and just look, see if the metrics hold. I have no idea what these metrics are, by the way. I've not looked at it. But let's just go to last night's show, and we will try to figure out if this holds true. So last night's live show is 366,000 views. This is your humble host right here. You can see him dancing away. Now we click on it. 366,000 views, 23,000 likes. So, okay, 7%. What's that? Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then comments. Where are the comments? How do I get to the comment? Did they not show my comments on my own page? Wherever they are. So that's, how do I get comments? Maybe I have to make it bigger. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, 3,200 comments. So about a little less than 1% of comments and a little less than 10% of the likes. So again, give or take, it should be in that range somewhere. So we go back to the main page here. Let's just pick a different one, the GT or not. 2,000 views. 222,000 views. Yeah, a little under 1% of the comments. Just 0.9% on the likes. So that's kind of the metrics. And so you can take that and then you can evaluate other people's live streams and say, are they adding views? Like if you get only 1/10 of 1% of the likes from the views, you've got a problem on your hands. That those numbers don't add up. If you get 0.01% comments, that doesn't add up. It should be somewhere in that neighborhood. The views and the comments and the likes should be in a tight trading range, 0.7 to 1.3, and then another or 7 to 10%, 12% maybe on a really well-liked show. And then you slide down to the comments, and it should be about 10% of that should be comments. And their numbers don't seem to add up. That's what she was trying to explain. EK with TJM said, from Scottsdale, living in Venice. I just don't believe it. I think she's just lying. Because the timeline does not support her living in Venice. She was just in Michigan. And she's dating in Scottsdale. It doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. I think she's lying. It's opinion, but I think she's lying. Adam's Eve. Sup, Beryl? I assumed Josh's career tanked because EK left him. I would bet money she had found JT before she left Josh. How does Cabot Phillips fit into the timeline? Crisis King. Oh, that's a good question. When did she date Cabot Phillips? Let me do a quick search here. When did Erika Francevey date Cabot Phillips? Let's see if we can get a quick answer for you, sir. September of 2017. So this would have been after those two. Right before Harley showed up on the scene. Crisis King indeed. Glenn B and EK interviews. She reads some notes Charlie Kirk had on his desk, and she was truly blindsided by the note. It was very telling. Listed his priorities and being lonely. I don't think he said he was lonely. I think he said his kids were the priority, and I think that bothered her. And he made a comment about how fame wasn't attractive to him. Like fame and all that means nothing. It's kids. It's kids and family. And I think that bothered her. The white ink tattoo pic dated 2014. She is Miss Erika Kirk, but she didn't marry Charlie until 2019, right? I'm confused. I explained that while I was listening. I hope you heard that explanation. If not, I'll give it again. When you change your name on Twitter or Instagram, it applies to all your past comments. So that's why it said that, because someone grabbed that screen cap recently after her name had changed to Ms. Erika Kirk. Was EK actually a Kardashian? Makes so much sense now. I don't think so. EK seems to love bomb the guy she's been with, maybe allegedly. And the 15-year-old girl she's around. My 9-year-old son and I were ROFL about the butt jokes while making lasagna together. My son likes to replay your funniest bits. EK, like others in her condition, eventually can't track her own lies. Is her condition being pathological? I used to work with a guy who called people congenital liars. I thought that was so funny. I asked him about it. I was like, are you using that word wrong? Do you not know what congenital means? I was like a 40-year-old lawyer I was working with. I was a young lawyer at the law firm. And he'd be like, you can't trust that guy. He's a congenital liar. And after about the third time I heard him say it, I was like, Mike, let me ask you a question. Do you know what the word congenital means? He's like, yeah, why? I was like, because I never heard it in the context of a liar. He goes, well, she's been a liar since birth. She was born with it. I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. We have to find out if she went to Dubai. Shout out to all them Dubai porta potties. I don't know what that means. I see you took the glare away from Rosa. Happy for the first of many months. Yeah, I did that like in under 5 minutes before the show started. All I had to do was add a little space at the bottom. So it's her picture used to be like this. Now it's like this. And it just projects the glare upwards. So if I get up here, you can still see it. But yeah, I tried my best to take it off. Thank you for noticing. Erika's living with boyfriend history is very surprising to me. I tagged you on X of a TikTok Charlie posted, which made me think Erika had saved herself for marriage. I'll email it to you also. Yeah, please do, because I don't. Maybe she did. I can't say she didn't. All I can do is point out the facts as I see them and I understand them, and I can give you my opinion on what those facts mean. I would be surprised, but I don't know. I don't know. Baron, you missed that EK said she lived in Venice, California during a video with JT Massey. Yeah, again, I don't think it's accurate. That's why I blew past it. My memory serves me, Frank Turk and the McCoy boys sheepishly smirked about a Vance Kirk 2028 ticket. Baron, did you show us a video of Rob McCoy saying, God forbid JD Vance in a sermon? Shocking and sudden change. Yeah. Yeah. And we even talked about why he might have had this shocking and sudden change. Baron, I must know if you ever watched the eye doctor clip from 13 years ago of EK where she's talking about her game face and look. She's always had an alter ego, it seems. Yeah, I watched that. I just didn't know what to make of it. Like it to me was such a basketball context. Maybe the basketball player was good cover in China for the CIA covert Black Widow agent. Jesus loves you too, bud. Thanks for all you do. Well, thank you first for that compliment there at the end. Maybe I tend to think she just lied and put a story together about how she's this great humanitarian over there. She may have even told Charlie that. May have told other people that. I mean, what was she going to tell Charlie? I was over there shacking up with some 6'10" pro ball player. I mean, does that fit the Charlie she was trying to woo? EK is a chameleon, chasing moneymakers, left JH after salary ended, didn't act Christian-like until Big Bucks CK enters. I will say this. To her credit, I did see some evidence of her saying Christian-like things before she met Charlie, but not like she did after. Not like she did after. Another part of the allure, Charlie thought he won when he got the girl that also dated the athletes, part of the manipulation. Maybe. And the Miss Arizona thing probably didn't hurt. Thank you for settling the debate I emailed you about today. I do believe you're a chosen messenger. I think people would agree. Christ is king. I don't know what debate I settled. Oh, I do know. You're welcome. You're welcome. Christ is king indeed, JD. Very interesting. While she's telling her story, she looks up to the right. So she's constructing the story. Oh, is that a thing? I look at the sound panels on my wall, I think. I don't know why I think they're going to give me inspiration. You guys can't see them because I keep them off camera, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sound panels up on the walls around. Kind of cut down on the resonance into the microphone. And I look at them when I'm thinking. Remember, Erika was at July 11, 2015 Trump rally. Red dress behind Trump with her mother, man, and child, and Tyler Boyer. I don't know if she was with the man and the child. We can't draw that conclusion. I saw a man. I saw a child. She appeared to communicate with them. That does not, to me, equal she was with them. But I agree. It's a thing. I mean, it happened. She was there. Those people also were there. Yesterday, you skipped over someone reffing Mishnah Nida 5-4. Curiosity got the best of me. I wish I hadn't. You should look. Referencing. Well, I'll look right now. I got a second. We're only at 2 hours and 24 minutes. Mishnah Nida 5-4. I don't know how my Yiddish is. Let's see here. I'm not going to read that out loud. What is this that I'm reading? What is this book? Mishnah Nida. Well, hold on. I gotta know now. What is Mishnah Nida? Because that was disturbing. The 10th and final tractate of the Seder Taharot, the order of purities, in the Mishnah, focusing on the laws of ritual impurity, Tumah, relating to menstruation, uterine bleeding, and childbirth. Defines the rules regarding the separation of the menstruant woman from intimacy and consecrated items. Is this a scripture? Like, is somebody consider this scripture? I'm assuming someone like Ben Shapiro might consider this. Is that true? I wish I hadn't read that. I don't know how you get something like that out of your head. But thank you. It's absolute bull butter. EK is still able to stay CEO after those messages to a 15-year-old. Yeah. Yeah, it's real bull butter. Think about the other story that broke late last week. The emails, the files, and why we're all outraged about people about that age being involved with men and adults. Thank you, Marguerite. I think when the original poster deleted it, it deletes all the shared posts too. TPUSA is watching. Stay safe, Baron Gomex. When the original poster deleted it, it deletes all these shared posts too. Oh, no, but I think Project Constitution had downloaded that. I'm going to reach out to him and ask. I mean, he seems like a very reasonable guy. He does great work. I think he would answer me. I don't know. Did he mark it private? If so, why? Weird. I can't imagine he disagreed necessarily with my coverage of it. EK only 10 points in 8 games played. I don't think that's true. I think I looked it up and maybe her high school scores were better than that. Maybe that's true. Well, she was young. She was a freshman and a sophomore. I don't think that's highly unusual. Her high school stats, admittedly, were very good. She was a good ball player, at least in high school. Love your show. Never miss. My mom, Marguerite Piazza, sang at the first Super Bowl with Al Hurt. Wow, really? She was an opera singer turned Vegas headliner. Catholic Tennessee girl. Love how you represent. Wow, you're telling me, first, thank you. You're telling me your mother, I mentioned the Grambling State band that played in the first Super Bowl. I mentioned or some other school's band. I can't remember. University of Arizona, some other state's band. And I mentioned the trumpeter, Al Hurt. I didn't mention Marguerite Piazza. I didn't know. I would have. Will you tell her not to be offended? Baron, get your rosary out. You're too close to danger. Diggy. Wait, I'm confused. She had to move after she won, but the article said ASU student won, and LinkedIn said 2010. Pick a date. I know those are hard for her. You're not confused. She's lying. Her story was inaccurate. I'll say that. Her story was wrong. It was a misrepresentation of the truth. It becomes a lie if it was a purposeful misrepresentation of the truth. And seeing how it was 2014 and this was like only a couple of years ago, I don't know how it wasn't a purposeful, intentional, or knowing misrepresentation of the truth, which would make it a lie. In my opinion. I may be biased, but Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers is my very favorite halftime show. I've heard that. Edge, love it when we can feel the heat. Keep going. I'm doing my best over here, Edge. Who do you have to know to get wiped from the internet? There should be so much more public info on EK. I don't know. Baron, thank you for working so hard for all of us. Your work is superior and you are highly entertaining. Keep up the great work and keep going. Go Max. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you first for that kind donation and second for the kind compliment. Very kind. Thank you. Go Max indeed. Baron, love your show. EK scrubbing your past equals you are all onto something. You all are onto something. I wonder if anyone has talked to any of the exes. Also, hit the like button, viewers. Yeah, thank you for doing my shameless advertising for me. Because otherwise, I have to do it. And then I look like I'm begging. But please, guys, like, subscribe, notifications, share with your friends and family. It's a good show. No, I'm just kidding. That part I'm kidding about. But Baron was having dinner at Texas Roadhouse in Knoxville. Asked 27-year-old waiter if he watches CO. He said yes. And Baron Coleman, too. Wow. Big in Knoxville. Big on Rocky Top. So proud of you. You are a must-watch in my house, Jesus saves. Hey, we're huge in Rocky Top. If you happen to be a 27-year-old Texas Roadhouse waiter, hats off to you, sir. Or ma'am. Can anyone verify that Erika Kirk was pregnant? ChatGPT says there are no pictures of her. Did she use a surrogate? So here's my take on that. I'm glad you asked. There are no pictures of her pregnant that I'm aware of. She addressed this, and so did Charlie, by saying she didn't want to be photographed pregnant. Okay, but whatever. I'm willing to accept that. That would raise the specter that perhaps she wasn't actually pregnant, except for one thing. There is a picture of her that I think Charlie Kirk released You know when a woman has a C-section and she's lying on her back and they put that whatever it is, the curtain down so that the woman can't see all the stuff going on in her lower regions. And then they bring the baby around to her head. That picture exists. So if they framed that picture, that's like beyond bizarre. So I don't believe that that's the case. I don't think Charlie's the type of guy who would have been in on framing that picture. So I tend to believe that she at least had the one. And if she had the one, why not the second? I'm so worried. What happens if they take you and the other great truthful commenters off the air? Well, don't talk like that first. Why would they? Will we be able to find you? Christ is King. Praise Jesus. Yeah, I'll be. If that happened, if YouTube did that, I am on Rumble. I'm on X. I'm on Spotify. I would just stream live. I do stream live to Rumble, but I would just stream live to those other platforms. But don't talk like that. There's no need to be ugly. If EK Heroes Charity filed first in 2009, Erika was 9 years old. No, I don't think that's accurate. Erika's 36. She was born in 88. So if they filed in 2009, she would have been 20. That's it. Maybe that's as far back as it goes. I don't know. She'd have been 20 or 21 during that tax year. Follow up last night comment. Candace Owens said Jesus 4 times today. I knew she had. I don't know why somebody said that. I'm confident I've heard her say it. And now we've all heard her say it. I've seen evidence Bitcoin was discussed in the Einstein files before it was public, thinking it was originally created and used for evil, illegal activity, especially since it's untraceable. Thoughts? I don't think that's necessarily why it was invented or created. There's an interesting, gosh, I wish I could just do my Bitcoin story because it's really good, if I say so myself. It's an interesting story. It's a multi-part story. It's not linear. The development of Bitcoin was not something that one guy sat down in 1 year or even 2 years or even 5 years and figured out. This was a development that took place over 20 plus years. It was multi-step. And in order to get to the final hurdle, there were certain hurdles that had to be overcome along the way. In order to get to the final hurdle, you had to have somebody with the vision to put it all together. Using Google Trends, I was able to figure out where these conversations and researches were taking place. And that's why I'm pretty confident I've been able to trace the development over time. What regions it was taking place and who might have been involved. But that's all I want to say right now. But to believe it was created specifically for a singular purpose, meaning illegal activity, you'd have to believe all these people over all this period of time are conspiring over 20 to 30 years to create a product that has a sole purpose, a singular purpose. And I don't believe that's the case. I think they were trying to create a digital cash system, not a store of value. Not that we would look at Yahoo and say, what's the Bitcoin price today? Oh, it went up, so now my money's worth more. I don't think that was the intent. Baron, I was waiting for when JG would call you a social engineer. Ghost Town NYC are social engineers like Baron Coleman and Blake Bednar's chilling real journalism. I don't know what all that means. I don't think I'm chilling real journalism. I'm giving shout outs to people who are doing great journalism, and I am trying to do my own version of it. I hope you've seen that the last couple of days, if you're new to the program. This is Scientology level crazy harassment. Oh, you must be talking about the person showing up at the house. Yeah. Aubrey needs to be careful. We have some developments taking place in real time on this program, but I'm not going to cover them tonight. Come on, Baron, give us UK fans a break. We are high IQ and jury members too. You are. I'm just an Indiana fan, which you guys stopped playing us for 10 years. I actually have a picture of the game from 2011 on my wall over here, a painting of it. So I'm bitter. As soon as we get good, you guys stop playing us. beat us for decades. And as soon as we become the number one team in the nation, all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to play you guys anymore. I'm a little bitter. Intimidation style. Yes. TK paid huge. I don't know what that is. To be public distraction, misinformation, disinformation, whipping boy. Called out for lying with no rebuttal. Since Big Bang, worst marketing ever for a PR firm. Who would hire him now? I think you're talking about AK, Andrew Colvett. Andrew Colvett. Yeah, I think he's getting wealthy. No doubt about it. Erica's your mothering type narcissist, liar. Mommy issues there. Couldn't agree more on the thrusters, sir. Also a big hoodie guy, but generally stick with Carhartt. Is Adidas the move? I have a Carhartt hoodie. I wore it on a, what did I wear that on the other day? Was it a members show? I can't remember when. I wore a Carhartt hoodie on, I don't remember if I was interviewing with somebody or, I don't remember when. I wore it on camera here recently in the last couple of weeks. But I've done a few interviews and I've done a few member shows, so I can't remember which one it was. But yeah. Carhartt's great brand. I'm wearing Carhartt jeans right now, I think. Yeah, wearing Carhartt jeans as we speak. Adidas doesn't make jeans, but I do like Adidas hoodies. That's my preferred on-camera hoodie, and it's my favorite hoodie. Oh, sir, but you did show everyone your chest on the members only podcast. Now, listen, that was a mistake. I did not show them anything. I did an audio test that turned into a video test while I was playing around. I never intended that to mark that public, but I tried to get my members show that same day to go public, and I realized my 7 a.m. audio test, that was during that period of time when I was messing with the audio quite a bit, trying to dial it in a little better. And yeah, I apologize for that. I wish I could wipe that from everyone's memory. And it wasn't my chest. It was like, look, it wasn't even this because the camera wasn't back that far. It was like from here up. It was like, to me, you got to see like the decorations for it to be chest. This was just here up. So it was not as scandalous as you're making it out to be. Remember when you said in an interview that when she interviewed with Charlie, she said she didn't need the job. So where did she get money to live? Yeah, good question. Apparently she was living it up. It wasn't selling real estate. She didn't get a license until the next month. So what was she doing? Take my money, but please don't ever call yourself a daddy sleuth again. Deal, Miguel. Deal. Speaking of Kid Rock, did you see the internet is wanting to change the name of Einstein Island to Kid Rock? No, but that's funny. I actually like that. Actually kind of funny in light of the contents. The internet can be a dark place. Go Max. Yeah, the internet can be a dark place, but that's funny. I didn't get it at first. Took me a second. TP starting to feel like Scientology. Tried sending this SC 3 times. It wouldn't go through until I changed the S word. Oh, I didn't realize they had that word banned in the super chats. Super chats, like I can control what words are banned in the live chat. Like I've got a ban on certain words, certain super foul words that I just don't want to see rolling up the live chat, or I don't want my kids seeing rolling up the live chat. But I've never banned the word Scientology. They must have their own list of banned words. Never mind. Missed first part of the show. Keep up the great work. Oh. Hearing Uncle Baron enunciate Kid Rock's lyrics was the highlight of my day. Give her hell, sir. She's a total sheep-dipped sham. That's an opinion. Love your content. I can enunciate Kid Rock. I mean, I'll just fire up the mic and go through his whole anthology if you want me to. I can do cowboy. I am a cowboy, baby. EK's romantic dates set up. Sheep's assignments. Hence musical chairs. Engagement vid with CK is gushing. But spring 25 CK show with EK. CK is touching neck compulsively, avoiding eye contact. Great show, B. Thank you. Thank you. I don't disagree with what you've said there. Robert Ritchie, a.k.a. Kid Rock, played an awesome Christian tune. He was inspired to add a verse to as the closing song, IMO. Look, Bob Ritchie's very talented. I met him in person, as a matter of fact. It's a weird story. I don't know if I've ever told this story on air. I don't know if I have or not. I worked at a radio station. We got free tickets to a show, and it was a country act in town. And then the rumor started circulating that afternoon at the station that Kid Rock was going to show up and do an opening. It was the day Eddie Money died, or maybe the day after Eddie Money died. I love Eddie Money, by the way. And Kid Rock was going to show up and sing the Eddie Money song Shakin' as like a tribute, because I guess he was in town. He and Hank Williams have some land down that way. And I guess they were at the land and they thought, hey, there's a concert in town. Maybe we'll go. And they showed up and he played Shakin'. Well, working at the station, I had backstage passes. And so I was back there and it was an outdoor concert. And so the backstage really was not as controlled as the backstage of an indoor concert. And so Kid Rock, aka Bob Ritchie, he's back there. And there's some other people wandering around back there, but there were probably 100 people back there. And Kid Rock's drinking Budweisers. And he's just having a couple Budweisers, talking to people, but you can tell he's a little uncomfortable. And so I'm standing next to this one guy who's a little weird, kind of a big, beefy guy. But, you know, I wasn't trying to make myself known. I'm not one of those people that goes up and tries to harass people. You know, did the, hey, nice to meet you, that kind of thing. And then just step back and just sort of let him work the crowd. And all of a sudden he leans over and whispers something in this one guy's ear who was kind of standing close to me. He whispers something in his ear. And the guy goes and he grabs a microphone in his sleeve. So apparently he was like a plainclothes security guy. And he said, Bob wants a beer. Bob wants a beer. And boom, just like that, like 10 people surrounded him and they just walked him off and he was gone. Vanished like a fart in a whirlwind. Just was gone. And I thought, wow, that's professional. Like, that's how you do it. You get the slightest bit spooked. Something got him, or maybe he just had to go to the bathroom, or maybe he just wanted to get out of there, just was tired of it or whatever. But all of a sudden, code word goes out, gone. Covered up like a cat turd in a litter box, and gone. It was nuts. It was nuts. That's my only Bob Ritchie story. My only brush with Kid Rock. Could NEF TPUSA throw the case and no one will be charged? Cold case plan. I mean, they could. I don't particularly think that's going to happen, but good. Any episode that includes butt touching is always welcome. Ooh, edge. Emailed an Illinois history of Charlie Kirk for interest. Nothing but revealing. YouTube won't let me type BUTT. Well, that's not me. But I'm glad to know they're keeping it clean. I'll check out that email. Thank you. Ben, I hope you save any videos and screenshots of things you find in your computer files. That goes for anyone researching. Too much instantly X'd when it comes out. Always screen record. Well, I have an app on my little Stream Deck here. I can hit a button and something pops up. I just drop a YouTube link in. It downloads it right there and stores it in a particular file on my computer. So don't worry about me, young lady. But that one I did not, because I just pulled it up and was going to play it. I didn't think Project Constitution would pull it. But trust me, when we're talking about Rob McCoy sermons, got to download those bad boys. On the Zoom call, EK said to the employees, to use the company's mental health resource. I wonder if the doctors reported on their private conversations with staff to see who's loyal. P.S. Costco has Adidas hoodies like yours now. Well, I know where I'm going in the morning. See you guys at Costco. First one there gets all the hoodies. That's great. Do they have any colors? Do they have any colors you haven't seen me in? Do they have them in large? Salem Media Satanic? I think so. In my opinion, but I think so. Any idea how long Erika was with JT Massey? Yeah. I think I had that timeline. I want to say 2015, but I don't know. Off the top of my head, but I have that somewhere. Curious about EK's emancipated sister. Found her LinkedIn profile interesting with the business her mother created in her name. Wonder why she departed the family and her feelings. I bet she has stories. She probably does. I don't recommend people call her, though. Not sure how we could find them. Didn't watch it, but convinced the Patriots being destroyed by the Hawks was a symbolic slap. All planned, especially with what's happening in Iran. I would have gone the other way. I would have said the Seagulls would have beat the Pilgrims. If there was some kind of plan. Is Johnny Yep from C4C still coming on to talk about CK's conversion? Was super excited when you said that. I need to call him. Let me text him right now. Let me reach out. Okay, done. Yeah, good call. Thank you. Baron, do you know if Candace knows that astral projection and third eye is tied to a cult practice? She said she and Charlie did it. Catholic Church cautions us about these things. Hope she knows. We did talk briefly about it once. I don't want to go into too much more than that. But I think so. I think so. Here's where let me. This is a good opportunity. Let me say this. I think there are some things that can be used for bad that aren't always bad. And don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. So when we talk about astral projection, if you are like my understanding of what astral projection is, and I think hers as well, is while you're falling asleep, you can fight that to some extent, and while your body's asleep, your consciousness can remain awake. I don't view that as any violation of Catholic teaching or anything evil. Where I think it gets evil is when people meditate it into leaving this dimension and heading to other dimensions. That I've heard of and as being called astral projection. And I think that's messing with a realm we shouldn't be messing with. Now, whether they're just flooding their brain with chemicals and it's not really leaving this dimension and heading to other dimensions. But I think that people believe that happens to them. Whether or not it's actually happening, I do think there are people who do that, and they do think that's what's happening. And I do worry that is bordering on a realm that they shouldn't be doing with. The whole third eye thing, I agree 100%. Like, you don't go messing with the third eye. But I don't view astral projection as the way Candace described to me as doing that. I view it more as just resisting the sleep so that the body, when you sleep, your body undergoes a chemical bath, for lack of a better word, where you're basically paralyzed, but the conscience can remain out just above that. A lot of people call that sleep paralysis. I've had it. I don't think it was evil, but they call it sleep paralysis, where your conscience is awake and your body is still very much not awake. When it's happened to me, it's terrified me. But the way it's been explained to me is that if you can resist the fear and embrace it and understand what's happening, you're then able to interact with your conscience in a way that you're not able to when your body's fully awake. I don't think that violates church teaching. Not the way I understand it. I think it's when you're leaving this realm and interacting with other realms that you're endangering your soul. I think so. But again, I don't speak authoritatively for the church on that, nor Candace, nor anyone else who does this or has done this. I've been seeing these commercials on YouTube often. Was just losing with my high schooler of how reaching nobody cares about your religion in high school. How that's reaching. Nobody cares about your religion in high school. Nobody in general cares who is a J word, very whack. Oh, you talking about the commercial on the Super Bowl? Yeah, I thought that was ludicrous. I thought the whole commercial was just absolutely ludicrous. Have Erika under the thumb honeypot. I'm going to have to move a little quicker through these guys because we're at 2 hours and 50 minutes and I've still got quite a few to get through. So if understand, I do read them, but I may not be able to pull them up and interact with them. Erika has a LinkedIn page under EF. Shows her CEO street. Yeah, I've showed that. You must have joined late. You must have joined after. Resident of Venice, California, Baron, Black Sheep dipped. Erika claims in intro video with baseball player, lies, cover story, why, Gov or Jezebel, Old Test, Baal, etc. Revelation 2:20. Guy dumped twice in a week. Oh, dumped from the team and dumped from the girl? Yeah, Johnny 2 times. I was at Nipplegate. My husband had a season ticket box, and we all drank and ended up in my house with Kato Kalin. Kato Kalin of O.J. Simpson fame? Is he still alive? Tell me Kato's among the living. I got to find out. Cato Kalin. He is 66 years old. Yeah, he's still quite. Yeah, he's alive. He's with us. Born 1959. Can you imagine being famous because some guy bumped into your house in the night and you were living in his guest house? I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Let's see here. Sent Roger Stone your way. Oh, you already sent that. Shout out to you on my podcast today, episode number 3, Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. I'm always vigilant. Lady Gaga's 2017 segue into Guthrie's classic, This Land Is Your Land, was a silent anthem for protesters against Trump's proposed immigration bans and border. Guthrie did not like his father. The left jumped onto it. Okay. I think I'm following what you're saying is that Lady Gaga was protesting Trump's immigration policies with that song. Thank you for this bright spot of my day, taking care of a terminally ill mama. EK was allegedly what we call a proho. I kid. God bless. God bless you too, Alpaca Renee. Sorry about your mom, but you're doing the Lord's work taking care of her. Yeah, JFK did not brace. Day 5, cigarette free. Have you heard that Lori and Erika are in the files? I've not heard that. I've heard people say that, but I've not seen the evidence of it. Congrats on day 5. Congrats on day 5. As a professional nicotine quitter myself, having done so many times over the years, I can tell you that it's not easy. Not easy. Easy to get back on it. Not easy to get back off of it. I think Erica's boyfriends and Charlie should have taken Nemo's dad's advice. Don't touch the butt. Now, why were you able to say butt, but the other person was? Baron, I'd rather see Bugs Bunny versus Bad Bunny. Well, Bugs was a great bunny. Savannah has 5. The 6th is Annie's. Oh, the hand. The glider I saw yesterday was a transponder removed from a glider. Your mods are so bad, a crooked letter. As you know, Crisis King, the mods are the best. They create a great community. Our community is so good partially because the mods take such good care of it. I got to turn the screen off because I've got Cato Kalin staring at me. It's a little aggressive. I do say so myself. There was a comment about EK's working for the government at 25 last night. I said out loud to myself, it was all planned from the start with CK. My light flickered like crazy. I turned off my lights and went to bed, just an LOL moment. It was so funny to me how they were all making fun of Candace for saying that Charlie alleged that the lights would flicker as if they didn't believe her. And then a video turns up of Erika saying the exact same thing. That Charlie would claim the lights would flicker when he walked through the streets. Did you see the coach video with the sparkles? Yes. Funniest thing ever. I'm getting baptized this month. Crisis King. Congratulations, Twilight. Crisis King indeed. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the Christian family. That's your entrance, by the way. In Catholic theology. No, you don't need to hear everybody else's version. I know it. But happy for you, Twilight. Very happy for you. Yeah, I did see the video that I think it's ADIS Fleet or something did of Coach. He was looking buff too, by the way. I'm officially freaked out. Well, I am too now. In addition to the odd things happening with my YouTube during your last few shows, I was typing a super chat, and after second sentence, it started deleting my words quickly. Didn't stop until my first words, I'm not. I don't know. I might need to tap out. That sounds terrifying. It also could be you have a little dust under your delete button, and it was just forcing it back, and you finally cleared it out. I don't know. Thank you, MBC. Just say Melby for Melbourne. Is that a nickname? I don't know anything about that. Chinese buying up all the farmland and markets where farmers sell. Also buying land surrounding military bases here in the USA. I think we should start to worry soon. They are doing all that and more. From Fresno, California, I spoke with Bishop. Yes, he spoke with Charlie Kirk. Good. See, we have confirmation of our stories that we cover here on air. So good. I'm trying to merch idea. Baron with hand on chin looking at ceiling. Maybe even caption, hope, please. I'll take it on a coffee mug, please. LOL, multiple times per show. Thank you for being Crisis King. That would be a good one. And it looks a lot like I do in the morning drinking the coffee. Takes me a minute. Youngster, Ivan, the AI you're using is machine learning. I've had this whole conversation. It has been fed what it has been fed. We users are doing nothing more than training the model. Entanglement will change the world. God is great. I've made this conversation. I used to work with a company that I used to make this point a lot. Primarily because we had contracts that prevented us from saying we had an AI product. But yeah, no, there is no such thing as artificial intelligence. What we call AI, ChatGPT, Claude, X, Grok, whatever. It's not AI at all. It's just a machine learning algorithm. It's just an algorithm. And it might be an algorithm that improves itself over time, but that's not artificial intelligence. True artificial intelligence is a different animal that's not been invented. And in my opinion, probably never will be. Probably never will be. Baron, Nashville neighbor here. Can we please have a slow read of Kid Rock's song Every Day from You? I chuckled. Don't tempt me with a good time. It might happen. Erika and Joe Anglin from Survivor fame have a history. He's in the pizza pick and also the I don't drink bar pick. Why was she hanging out with the Survivor champ in 2017 so much? I know they went to college together. What could be as easy as that? Maybe they went to college together, knew each other, and ended up in the same place about the same time. I don't read too much into that. I mean, I've never heard of the Survivor champ. He was the first Survivor champ I've ever heard of. So I don't read too much into that. Maybe Charlie braced just before the Big Bang from the electrocution, just before his microphone exploded. Absolutely love your show. Maybe. Not the Hawking imitation. I'm dying. Always thought the same thing. 100. Yeah. Wait, I'm going to use that as an opening one day. Just dial it back. Everybody sit down. Everybody stay calm. But it's going to be a banger. Just wait. Ooh, please do a members conspiracy episode and tell us what you believe. Stephen Hawking, Helen Keller, mind blown. I'll be happy to do that. I've got better conspiracies than those. Those are surface for me. Wait till I get to the sky. Oh, she hated the Helen Keller field trip. If my future grandkids go, I hope their parents are off that day because I ain't going. That's awesome. Well done. Well done. Oh, while you are on conspiracies about disabled people, Stevie Wonder isn't blind. Correct. Stevie can see. Way too many people that know Stevie have the exact same story. He recognizes them. He avoids objects. He can see. It's a shtick. It's a shtick. 1 month strong, baby. Thanks, Baron. Oh, the members have all aged into 1 month. Yes. So now I see why you guys are all doing this. I guess 1 month gives you the ability to comment in your members thing here. Yes. Hi, Baron. Did you happen to see the lyrics for one of the Bad Bunny songs that Trump Jr. posted today? Kid Rock's lyrics are bad, but Bad Bunny lives up to his name. I did not. I mean, but Bad Bunny was not billed as being at a family-friendly show. You know, the all-American halftime show, God, Faith, and Family, or whatever they were saying it was about. Always love your content. Age is just a number. Well, that's not true. Age is not just a number. In a few days, I will have been married to my wife for 26 years, over half my life. She is 16 years my senior. Not everyone fits in the same box. Respect. I agree with you there. Not everybody fits in the same box. I said it's not unprecedented. It happens. It's just you admit it's unusual. It's not something that happens often. I guess often is a relative term. It's not something that happens on a high percentage basis of all marriages. And there's a reason for that. There's a biological reason. It's, that's not to mean that you can't have a loving, productive, safe, happy, healthy, friendly, fulfilling, God, honoring marriage at any age. That can absolutely happen. But it doesn't change reality. And the reality is the normal course is for, unless you're both very young, for a man who's older to marry a woman who's younger. It's just a biological reality. Congratulations on 26 years, though. I've been married almost 25. Believe it or not. Goes fast. Goes really fast. That's more than half my life. That's well more than half my life. Half my life would be 23 years. So, gosh, that just made me feel really, really old. Sorry, guys, I had a moment. Glad you could watch. Sorry about that, guys. But Baron Erika lies like Mikey's hips move. Yeah, he sways. There's no doubt about that. My grandpa always listened to Rush Limbaugh, and I didn't understand how he could listen to someone for hours. Now listen to you every night. You help me feel closer to my grandpa. Aw, make me feel closer to your grandpa. I love your grandpa. He's the best. And I don't even know him. Let's see. This is interesting. TPUSA is now a faux faith fraud, and Erika Kirk takes charge in her new role, and now she is addressed as praying mantis. Is that because she bites the head off of people? Isn't that what happens? Isn't that what they do? It's not you sounding different. It's the videos when you stream them. Oh. So the streaming video doesn't. I see. So that's what I bumped up. That makes sense. I can fix that. I'll go back and listen. Although I think when YouTube posts, they smooth out the audio. So I may not be able to hear the distinction. I know how to test that. I'll just bypass YouTube. I'll stream it to something else. Thank you for telling me that. That's very, very helpful. Would it be safe to Bitcoin story on Rumble? Thanks for all you do. I feel so much more high IQ since finding your channel. No, the problem isn't the platform. The problem is me. I can't be on Rumble. I mean, I can be on Rumble, but the words are the words. That's the problem. Baron, why was JG so angry today fussing about you? Sorry if I didn't know he was. I've ignored that man. I don't care what he has to say. It's irrelevant to me. I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. While watching the behavioral arts on Nicki Minaj and Erika the last 10 minutes, he says he noticed Erika demonstrated what he learned in hypnotherapy. Well, that's interesting. I haven't heard. So glad I became a member. You're my first and only membership on YouTube. I'm about to start my YouTube journey at the ripe old age of 59. Some kind of circle for my crafting. Wish me luck. Good luck, Terry. Good luck. 59 is but a babe. A young babe. Breaks my heart for CK. EK never looked at him like the guy in the video. No big smile, no lovely eyes. Poor Charlie. Yeah, that's the thing. Find someone that looks at you the way Erika Francevey looked at TJ Massey. Let's go. Oh, that's the real RealCandaceO. Is that really you? Ladies and gentlemen, we have star power in our midst. Well, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed your stay, young lady. I hope you've enjoyed your stay. What time did she send that? 9:13? Yeah, 20 minutes ago. Wonder if she's still here. Remember when Carhartt, man, that just humbled me. Look at that one more time. Okay. That might be this might be the okay. Hold on. That might be the thumbnail for this show. I'm not sure. Remember when Carhartt and Bass Pro was a blue-collar man's outfit? Now there's all these pansies wearing it as a fashion statement. Are you calling me a pansy? I'm only mad because you might be right. No, I'm just kidding. Well, they're just really comfortable jeans. It's hard for me to find a jean that's long enough but also fits right in the waist. And these jeans did the trick. Oh, she's back for more, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Wait until my Erika mini series drops. It's been a journey investigating her background. Also, me and Charlie were not Catholic when we discussed his third eye. People naturally get sleep paralysis and astral projection. Can't help it. That's what I was saying. I think it's what you do with it. That's my thing. What a great comment. Thank you for joining in the discussion. Yeah, that's the thing. I certainly never intended to have sleep paralysis. It scares the hell out of me. I wish I didn't have it. But my understanding is there are people who say, hey, once you sense it, just calm down and go with it. You can really explore the old conscience. I don't know that that's against church teaching to do that. I think if you're like going into spirit realms with it, I certainly don't want to go that way. I mean, but I don't know. Guys, I'm so honored right now. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm trying to play it cool. It's a little bit like when I was on her show. I had to sit there like I'm not starstruck the whole time. Like, yeah, sure. Just normal, just another day at the office. Kirk Holmes in New Braunfels, Texas. Seems like it could be a potential lead. Was asked to share website and address. Seems off. I need to take a picture of that because I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to look it up. Boom, just like that. That's how it works. RealCandaceO. That's how when you're a low budget operation, you got to take pictures. Thank you for digging deep into topics and making us laugh. I homeschool my kids and worry that telling them the truth about the world will destroy their hope for a future. Thoughts? Christ is King. My wife and I have had that same conversation about homeschooling our 8 children. How much do you share with them? You want to prepare them for the real world, right? You don't want them to go through the world blind, but at the same time, you don't want them paralyzed with fear, because what as a 46-year-old, what Baron Coleman is able to handle truth-wise as a 46-year-old is very different than what Baron Coleman could have handled at 5 or 7 or 10 or even 15 or 18. You've got to have a base of understanding of the way the world works, and then you're ready to accept these messages, digest them, and use them. I don't even think at 25 I was ready for some of this stuff. God bless those who are at that age. God bless those who are. 7.5 years sober and free. Congratulations, Danny. Absolutely congratulations. Well done, and thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Plaid shirt guy has an ESD conductor strap on hand for grounding. Plaid shirt guy. Okay, so that's going to be Butch Hibbs. Has an ESD conductor strap on hand. Oh, no. That is okay. So you're talking about Rick Cutler, because there's a video of him from Charlie's Left. There's a video of him pulling his hand up, and he's got some black thing wrapped around his hand. Is that what you're talking about? For grounding, goes with Road Go. Hibbs, 2 different plaid shirts, 2 green hats. Guys. Security declined EMS on form FOIA. I don't know that last part, but that's pretty interesting. I don't know what an ESD conductor strip is. I have Road Go microphones, and I don't have an ESD conductor strip. I don't know what that means. I'm going to have to look it up, though. It's just me, or does Erika's ex look like the dude in the stairwell CCTV capture? Same facial features, expressions. I don't think the minor league ball player was in on it. Or are you talking about Cabot Phillips? Because, yes, he does have the same facial features and looks very remarkably like him, frankly. But I don't know that, I don't know that that was him either. So, I don't know how to navigate that. Baron, you crack us up with knowing random song lyrics. Well, doing my best over here, young lady. I know a lot of song lyrics. Okay. Don't make me pull it up and do it, because I will. I don't want to have to paint the town red and his wife, whatever. I think that's Cowboy. There was one video where she looked at Charlie like that guy, called him handsome, and made horned up noises at something he did at 1 month. How do you know what a horned up noise is? Figured out Colorado Springs flight's mystery had to be Thomas Martin, because he has high-level defense clearance, Tier 1, C4 ISR. He's the one Candace asked about. Architect bridging the Dream City data harvest. I heard her podcast today, obviously. And I heard her mention Thomas Martin. Is it? And I heard her I'm going to watch it again tonight. I heard her mention there were 2 different Thomas Martins. And I want to make sure if I look into this, I'm looking into the right Thomas Martin. But she may be so on the case that she doesn't need too much help. Maybe, though. I'm sitting here watching you laughing instead of doing my own show. I'm sorry, young lady. Won't happen again. But one can always use a good laugh when talking about these despicable people. Yes. Certainly can. Oh, got my copy of Rome Sweet Home and the workbook today, starting it this evening after the show. Well, congratulations. Please let me know how it goes. You're a member. Maybe I'll talk to you tomorrow on the Members Live. What's your name? Annie Marie. I'll try to remember that, Annie Marie. I don't know. I mean, look, I see a lot of names. See a lot of names scroll through here. I can't guarantee you I'll remember. No pressure, Baron. Candace is watching. Keep calm and tell her to check her tips email. I said, so you want me to be the guy to say, hey, check your email. 100,000 emails. I'm sure she'll find silence is complicity. I am keeping calm, though. This is a professional operation. You have nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. We are totally above board, totally professional. Everything's fine. We're going to act like the #1 podcaster in all the world is not watching live with all of us. When you start explaining, you've already lost. That's correct. That's correct. Who told you that? Sounds like you heard it from a genius. Love seeing all my favorite podcasters supporting each other. Keep going, Max. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. I'm going to end on that one, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, all that. When I tell you Jesus loves you at the end tonight, hang on with me for like 5 extra seconds because I'm going to make them really work if they're going to cut that off. But don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to click notifications so you know when I go live. Double check if you think you're subscribed or have your notification bell on. Go ahead and double check right now because some people are reporting to me that their subscriptions are for whatever reason being unsubscribed and their notification bells are being unrung. So check that for me. I will be doing a member show tomorrow. I don't know if I will do a live evening show tomorrow. It depends on how the day progresses. I've got some plans in the day, some things I got to get taken care of. And so I don't know that I'll have time to put together a full show for tomorrow night. I usually take Tuesday off, so I may go ahead and take all of Tuesday off and just do the member show in the daytime. We'll see how it progresses over the course of the day. But thank you, guys. Thank you for joining, in my opinion, one of the greatest podcast communities I've ever seen. You guys are so wonderful. I monitor the chat as it goes by and as I'm covering the stories. And you guys, actually, I do want to cover one more question because I see a Grumbler question I want to answer. But you guys have really made this an enjoyable enterprise, a genuinely enjoyable enterprise. And I cannot thank you enough for joining me each night. From the Grumblers, I love the way your mind thinks. Was it law school that taught you to strive for the paradigm shift points? You're repeatedly bringing attention to overlooked huge facts. I'm so impressed with your creative mind. I didn't just read that because it was complimentary. I read it because I wanted to address about the law school point because there are several people in our audience who've mentioned they're getting ready to go to law school or they're in law school. And I'll say this, law school doesn't teach you about the law. It teaches you, in my opinion, how to think. It teaches you how to logically approach an issue. I've always been big at pattern recognition. And so pattern breaks, when I see pattern breaks, I get very concerned that something's amiss. And oftentimes I'm right about that. We are creatures of habit. Humans settle into a pattern. And when we settle into a pattern, then all of a sudden disrupt that pattern, usually there's a reason why. Sometimes it's innocuous, but oftentimes it's not. And so I do look for that, Tracy. And I don't know that that's a law school thing as much as that's just something life has taught me. So thank you, Grumblers. I appreciate it. You guys are great. Thank you, YouTubers. You guys are great as well. Don't forget. Don't ever forget. Jesus loves you. And nobody can delete that. It doesn't matter if they trim the back of the video or not. It's a reality. It's a fact. See you guys mañana if you're members. Wednesday in all likelihood if you're not.